It is I, Joel, when I'm in the bedroom putting on a show. Your mother and both your sisters know that Stud Muffin's gonna pick his handsome ass up and go unless we turn on Kayfabe Talk Radio.
You are listening to Kayfabe Talk Radio.
Welcome everyone to this week of Kayfabe Talk Radio. I am Eric the Red, joined along with, as always,
Mr. Bonesaw.
And we hate to be the bearers of bad news, as well as, emphasize on negative stuff, but unfortunately, we had another death this week in pro wrestling. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, for a lot of the fans nowadays, they would know as the father of Natalia, Natty Neidhart, passed away this weekend, unfortunately, at only 63 years old, which, is really, in my opinion, way too young to die. And, the cause of death was that, is reported that Jim was having problems sleeping, and he got out of bed to adjust the thermostat. Ellie, his wife, mother of Natalia, then said that as Neidhart went to touch it, he turned weirdly as if he was quote-unquote about to dance, then fell into the wall and ground. She immediately dialed 911, believing he was having a seizure, something he's been taking medication for. Jim had a 4-inch gash on his face when the EMTs arrived. He passed away later that day. So...
Was it the medication, or
no,
he just had a heart attack?
No, it's believed that he had a seizure, and he was suffering. He's suffering also from Alzheimer's disease.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he's been suffering for that for. It's really sad. It really is, and especially now. It's I hate to have to bring it up, but if you watch his interviews, he was like convulsing and he was twitching a lot. It was very heartbreaking to see.
Did he have any memory loss, or was he showing any signs of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it. On a personal note, I did have someone who died from Alzheimer's. I hate to say it like this, but it's better that he went when he was still lucid, and rather than seeing him slowly pass away, because I know there's medication, but it really doesn't help all that much, and eventually the Alzheimer's, it causes a situation where your brain, you're not really living anymore. It's mostly you're living in memories, and then eventually your body just gives out altogether. Your brain cannot process anything and you go into like kind of like a vegetative state. So like most people just think of it as, oh, it's just memory loss. It's like, no, it gets worse. And I mean, I wouldn't want to say like, well, you know, that it's good that he died, but I mean, it's probably
he would have been
better that
he would have been suffering. You know, it's
like it would have. It's better that he passed away with like his loved ones while he was still like lucid, and you know they have fond memories of him, rather than having to deal with somebody who's going to slowly, and tragically, you know, go through this like such a horrible disease.
It's unfortunate, you know. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's really a shame. Did they think it was like had anything to do with like the head injuries or?
You know, there's been a lot of speculation that his seizures as well as Alzheimer's has been just contributed to head injuries, concussions, and even to a degree, substance usage.
I know he was. I knew he was big into that. I thought he had given that up as way back, like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
He's given that stuff up maybe in like the middle to later, you know, part of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like going like 2010ish, like around that time, he was still kind of using, or to my knowledge. I mean, I could be completely wrong and, you know, whatever, but I'm just going based off of, you know, stuff that I would remember, because, again, I would see him in shoot interviews with Brett, and he'd be standing there and was just in really bad shape. Like, you know, it's not something you want to really watch, you know, especially if you're someone that has followed his career and, you know, you see something like this, and it's like, man, like, it's a shame to see someone, you know, in perfect health, on archived footage, and then you go look, and this is what, you know, the reality. You know, and at least the one thing is, like, it's unfortunate that he'll never, you know, he was never and never will. If Natalia and Tyson were to ever have children, I don't know what their scenario is with that, but, you know, it's unfortunate he would never and will never meet, you know, grandchildren of them if they ever did. But regardless, it's great. It's amazing that he got to walk his daughter down the aisle, and that she had her father, you know, as she went down the aisle to, you know, marry obviously her like high school sweetheart, basically. You know, so I you know,
it's sad. It's
very
again
sad.
It's a situation where it's like, At least they have decent memories of him. At least they didn't have to see him in the late stages as well as Alzheimer's.
For sure.
That being said, it's tragic having to, you know, deal with the loss of a husband, the loss of a father, and it's so, like, we've already gone through multiple wrestling deaths in the past month or two, and especially this year. And especially considering this is now the third member of the Hart Dynasty that's passed.
Really, the fourth, because if you looked at that Hart Foundation, the 1997 version of that group, it was Brian Pillman, Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Owen
I forgot
Hart,
about Brian Pillman
and Jim. Yeah,
I know Davey Boy. Boy and Owen, and now, and then, yeah, you're right, Brian Pillman, and now Jim.
Yeah,
Shit.
Brett's the final one.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, because the picture was going everywhere, all over social media, of the five of them, and Bret Hart's the only one, you know, in actual color, and the others are in black and white, and it's just so, like, upsetting, you know, to see that. You know, especially
That's
me.
So hard.
You know, especially me, where it's like, you know, I basically grew up watching wrestling, you know, in real time to the whole Hart the whole Hart and Steve Austin feud, and then eventually Shawn Michaels formed DX, and I grew up pretty much my childhood. Jim Neidhart was one of those guys where he was a consistent basis. I know, his career goes back to the '80s and whatnot, but he was a big part of the the mid the late '90s going into WCW. He played lesser of a role. He wasn't that prominent, especially with the NWO stuff going around. But again, he was one of those names that you knew. He was, he is a superstar. Honestly, obviously he was known as more of the workhorse of that entire group. He wasn't, obviously Brett and Owen will always be the main guys. Brett obviously the top guy between the three. On Jim, unfortunately, the lesser of the three, but nonetheless, who he was. Everybody knew who he was. That knew, at least the Hart name. So,
and now it's like pretty much out of that family. I mean, of that generation, you only have Brett and Dynamite Kid.
I really, don't know a lot of even who's left of that 80s locker room. Like, the true 80s locker room? Like, I can't think of who's left.
I'm just thinking of the Hart, like, that family in that generation. You don't have Owen's gone, Jim's gone, and you only have Brett. And he had his health problems. He had cancer back in the early 2000s, and I think he had
a couple years ago.
He had something happen, huh?
A couple of years ago.
Didn't he recently have a? Yeah, no, he had it. He had it a couple of times. Because I remember, right around the time WCW folded, right around, I think it was like 2003. He had cancer, and then recently he had the cancer scare. And then you have Dynamite Kid, who's like really sickly. It's like, who do you really have?
There's like that. Yeah, you're right. And I hate to do this, but it's like that Hart family is almost now when we're hitting close to the next part of the 2000s, we're only about less than a year and a half away from 2020, and heading into that new decade. The Hart family is basically now, what's left of it is basically on par with the Von Erich family. Obviously the sadder part is the Von Erich family. A lot of those guys have been gone now for now we're approaching decades, which is sad to say. And obviously the case is the same thing with the Harts, but it's just it's depressing. It's depressing that the more time goes on, the more and more you're losing remnants and losing key people. I mean, obviously that's life, but it's just, I don't know. It's like I said before.
Even people that are like associated with them have died. Like anyone who's like in that Hart family dungeon too. Like Benoit was like heavily associated with them. He's dead. It's like it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's so weird. Just like everybody from that generation is just dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look at that list because I haven't looked at that list in years. The people that were trained there. Let's see here. Abby is still alive.
Oh, Abby was trained there?
Yes.
Wow, I not for nothing against Abby. I would not picture him being trained at the Hart family dungeon.
Oh, absolutely. No, I wouldn't either. He had him, Bad News Allen, as people know, Bad News Brown, he's gone.
Shit.
Someone by the name of Albert Obing, he passed away in March of 2014. Let's see. You have a guy by the name of Archie Goldie. I don't know if this guy's, I'll name the more. I hate to do it like this, but the people you know. Brian Pillman obviously passed away. Billy Jack Haynes, I think, is still around. Yeah, Billy Jack Haynes is still around. He's still alive. Benoit obviously passed away. Jericho's still alive. You have Christian still alive. Davey Boy Smith passed on. David Hart Smith is still around. Dynamite Kid's still alive. Edge is still alive. Fritz Von Erich was trained by Stu Hart. Holy shit. Wow, okay.
I didn't know that. Fuck.
Yeah, shit.
I would have never thought... No, I would have never known that. That's so weird. I thought he would have been, like, trained by his dad or something.
No, I'm talking... No, Fritz Von Erich is the father.
Oh...
He's the promoter... Yeah, that's promoter of World Class, the father of the Von Erich...
Yeah. Well, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
Wow. What year was that? Jesus.
He broke in 1953. 1953.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah, he had him. A guy I don't think you'll know who he is, but a guy by the name of Jama Singh. He currently is actually he plays a manager role in Impact for a group called the Desi Hit Squad. He's still around. George Scott. I think he's still alive. He passed on.
Don't you think this is the most morbid thing we've ever done? Just going through the entire Hart family.
I'm just trying to look. No, dude, because I'm trying to look for some light here. That's the thing. I'm trying to actually look for some light because there's a lot of people. Dude, there's at least 50 people here.
Yeah, like Jericho.
Yeah. All right. Gorilla Monsoon passed on. Greg Valentine's still alive. You have a lot of the Hearts. A lot of the Hart guys. I hate to say it, not some of the ones that are not as well known, but Dean Hart, he had passed on. Keith Hart, Wayne Hart, all those guys, Bruce. A good part of them are still, So I think at least 2 or the 3 are still alive, or at least I hope. Bruce Hart is still alive. Brett obviously, Honky Tonk Man. Jake Roberts.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Really? Jake makes sense.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk, really?
Oh, by the way, yeah, really. Owen Hart obviously is one of them. Jim Neidhart is one of them. Junkyard Dog passed
Weird,
on.
Okay.
Yeah. Jushin Thunder Liger.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard about that. Why am I surprised?
I don't know. I'm a little bit.
I think I have heard.
I've seen it. I know. Well, obviously I've seen this before, but I completely forgot. All right, Just Incredible. Ken Shamrock. I knew that. A gentleman by the name of Klondike Bill, who my dad has known for many years personally, because of when he was in the business and he was working with WCW. Klondike Bill was ahead of the he was ahead of the ring crew. He was the one advising people on how to build it and whatnot, and he was pretty much the guy in charge of taking care of the ring. Lance Storm, obviously.
Yeah, Lance Storm.
Mark Henry.
What?
Yeah, Mark Henry.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because he was talking about Owen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Masahiro Chono.
I thought they were just like friends. I didn't know he was actually trained. But
Right.
that makes sense now.
Yeah, Masahiro Chono. Nikolai.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, you continue?
Yeah, Nikolai. Piper, that's obvious because he's a cousin, or he was a cousin of the Hart family. Shinya Hashimoto, and the main reason why I do honestly bring his name up, because I said I would cover more notable names or relatable names. People would probably know that his name was mentioned quite a bit during this recent run of Okada, because before Okada hit this 700-day run, Hashimoto held the record for having the belt for, I think, about 490-something days. Is the longest reign for the IWGP title. So, yeah. Another student of Stu Hart's, Steve Blackman.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it's a little surprising.
He was never a great worker though. I was just like when it's like these guys that are like, he was alright. Like he never did anything like
probably trained him quickly, had a bump. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess. It's weird though. Like it's weird because you always like when you get the mindset of, oh, he was trained in the Hart family dungeon. You usually think like technical submission master.
Hey man, not everybody could be a technical masterpiece.
True.
Superstar Billy Graham, I've known that one for a long time. The Last Student, Tyson Kidd. And here's one that, I should have known, but, Victor of the Ascension.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Canadian guy, so, So I gotta see, what year did Tyson Kidd debut in then? Okay, hold on. Alright, I sent some bullshit here. They're saying that he's they were billing him as the last student, and he debuted in the business in 1995, and then Victor broke in 1999. I'm sensing some bullshit. I guess they just didn't want to give the accolade to Victor.
I guess.
Here's the last student of the Hart Dungeon, and here he is losing again to the Fashion Police.
Oh, here's him jobbing.
Yeah, here's the last student of the Hart family, and here he is doing pie in the face segments backstage during Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my god!
But
yeah, the generations of wrestlers that have gone through and been champions, and the last ever student is a guy who just jobs for fucking Heath Slater.
Oh shit! But all kidding and joking around aside, to close this, here, rest in peace, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and obviously our condolences here at KTR go out to the entire Hart family. Stay strong, everybody, and rest in power. Jim Neidhart, will always be with the fans as well as the family. So,
yeah, God bless. Oh God.
Yeah. But moving on. I guess we'll, because we were spending a little bit of a nice conversation having this before we went live. We could just jump into this, pick up realistically where we left off. So, before we went on the air, me and Pat, because without getting into it, me and Pan are just pretty much shooting the shit about our shoot lives and talking about how corporate management and how rich motherfuckers would love to not give decent pay raises and salaries to the actual hard workers. No, they rather spend it on useless shit they don't need. And we related it to professional wrestling. And more precisely, sports entertainment, aka WWE. So, we took it upon ourselves, or at least I did mostly, to take a look at and kind of do a little bit of math here as to how much the LED shit that they own for WWE actually realistically cost, and not including the ring post, not including the ramps, not including the rest of the walls. Just the 2 panels you see on the ring aprons themselves cost at least $100,000 each. Because you figure, and the reason why, where I came out with this is, so according to Planar.com, you could easily find this information. So it costs approximately anywhere from $17,000 to $25,000 per square meter. And then you figure, 18 feet, which is one of the, listed measurements, is 5.5 meters. So, yeah, eventually you're gonna equate that to close to maybe a little over $100,000 per even there. So that's $200,000. So that's one salary right there. That's even $200,000. That's $200,000 worth of a raise.
Wouldn't this be like between Raw and SmackDown? Wouldn't this be like $400,000?
I think honestly, you notice, if you notice, dude, Raw and SmackDown, they don't film that far apart from each other anymore, and the reason why is because they share the LED stuff.
Okay.
They didn't duplicate. I mean, Raw and SmackDown stages, like the actual stages, are different. Like Raw's got that really weird curved piece that's not really a Titantron, and I hate the thing because it's not big enough to display whatever video you're trying to show. And then SmackDown has the bigger screen, so they have like the differences of the screens and whatnot. But no, the actual ring pieces, I could be wrong. They could have stupidly bought a duplicate set, or paid for a duplicate set to be made. But I'd imagine they were
I feel like that would be the case because, like, God forbid, if there was ever a situation, like, they usually come to the Northeast a lot, especially during times where there could be like a snowstorm. So, what the fuck do they do if like they do like a Raw taping and then suddenly, we can't get the trucks to, we can't get the trucks to the new show.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That would be I want that to happen.
Oh my god.
I want that to happen.
What are we gonna do without our precious LED ring posts? Cancel the show! They don't even use them when they go to the UK. They use the regular ring post and ring skirt when they do TV in the UK. And not to mention, when they do cage matches, they can't even use this shit. They have to use the regular fucking looking ring. So it's like, see, and that's one thing that kills it for me. It's like the one thing that kind of took away the surprise factor last year when Big Show and Braun broke the ring was because I noticed
they took the LEDs off.
Yeah, because one, they preserved that segment for the end of the show. They were building up to it the whole night in multiple segments of Braun bowling Kalisto. So they built up to that the whole night. And then there's no LED post, there was no LED aprons, so I was like, yeah, they're breaking the ring. And so when it happened, it was like, cool, good for Braun. However, you knew it was coming because all the gimmicks are missing. I hate the fact, because that's one thing with, I hate the fact now that it's like, it just takes away from the element of a little bit of unpredictability. It's like, oh, we're gonna do a cage match, so we gotta take all the LED stuff off. It's like, whatever happened to just a regular show?
Pieces that they take off, though, like, shouldn't it just be a piece, like, instead of it just being fucking screwed into the thing, shouldn't it be the ability to easily take it off so you can have the cage match? Or maybe they should have just built it where instead of just integrating it into the ring, it should have been part of the ring. They could have done it.
I don't think WWE is smart enough. I don't think WWE would be smart enough to integrate, not to mention, if they were even to make a cage to molded specifically to fit all the LED stuff to protect it, that's going to cost them a lot of money right there. That's a lot of fucking money right there. So it's like, they have this shit sitting in the warehouse, so they're just like, oh, let's just not put this stuff on, because they figure too, if they're doing TV, and then think about it, you gotta spend. That shit doesn't just go on bolt, and it comes right off. You gotta be really fucking delicate. One little. If you even flick an LED, because I gotta explain something to people that don't know how delicate LEDs are, because I've dealt with LED lights quite a bit. So if you even so much flick an LED board or anything LED hard enough, that shit's gonna fucking that pixel's gonna crack. They're super fucking delicate. Even if you put a little bit of pressure on it, that pixel's gonna fucking pop. And then guess what? You gotta pay to get it fixed. So they don't want to take the fucking risk. So my thing is, why even bother having this shit if it's just like Earl's made the example about it 2 years ago. It's a bull in a china shop. Or pro wrestling is a bull in a china shop, and it's like you have this stuff here, and why is it there if this is supposed to be a fucking physical contact simulation of a sport, or whatever's left of the sport? And I don't know. But mind you, the LED ramp, I mean, obviously that's not in the way of anything, but again, it's cool. It's cool when you do bigger pay-per-views like Rumble and shit, I guess. But it's fucking, I don't know. It's knowing the fact that they spent more money on that shit as opposed to actual, using a little bit of pyro and fog. Like, I hate the fact looking at fucking Becky Lynch's entrance and there's no fog anymore. And she's supposed to still be this steampunk girl. And it's like, she comes out, she just stands there awkwardly for like 10 seconds with no fog. It's like, oh, you mean to tell me you got rid of that? You got rid of that for, oh man, we gotta have our screens everywhere.
Like, how much is a fog machine, though? Like, realistically, I get the pyro. I know, like, you need a you need a pyrotechnics expert, and then the explosions and shit.
Yeah, it's not cheap for that.
But you really don't need it for everyone. You could use it for, like, okay, this is an example. How often do you have, like, guys like Kane or any of the older guys that used to use pyro? Like, how often do you have those guys? Just use the fucking pyro. It's not a big fucking deal. Just do it once in a while. That's all we ask. And you know what's the sad thing? Other companies use it. Like, Ring of Honor uses it.
Japan
Impact uses it. Like, they're smaller companies. They're not billion-dollar companies like WWE, and they can somehow find the budget for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And and it's like, if you really look, it's not too, like, yeah, it's not cheap. Pyrotechnics is a lot of money, and you have to have a specialist to do it. And you have to have that specialist go around. The fucking band Rammstein, they spend for one tour a couple $100,000 on just pyrotechnics a year. But it's like, yeah, I understand it's a lot of money, but if you use it in an excessive amount, sure. Look, not every Raw and SmackDown needs that pyro. We get that. You know, save it for moments that are special. You know, not every week there has to be, you know, like, dude, I'm sorry. AJ Styles needs a little bit of fucking fog or pyro or something. Lashley needs a little pyro. There's certain people that are still positioned in such a way that they need little aesthetics like that. They don't need fucking stupid light-up graphics that, you know, someone made on fucking Sony Vegas in the background.
See, this is the problem. I'm going to use a perfect example. You sit like if you're a kid and you're watching a wrestling show and it's the first ever wrestling show, and this is to go back as far back as the 90s. Now, you are watching a wrestler, and you're let's say you're from the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression. You're sitting in the seats, and then you feel a pop, like you just hear a fucking loud bang, or you hear like flames go off, and you feel like the fucking. Because that was the biggest thing about like Kane's entrance when you were a kid, or you know, like, or at the very least, even like nowadays, like seeing Kane or Undertaker or somebody else, and you see like pyro or smoke or whatever, and you feel like, especially with Kane, like you feel the fucking flames on like your skin, like you feel the heat coming from like the fire. It's like you get like an extra, I don't know, like you get extra, you know, like you get extra feeling from it. Like it's more, has more gravitas because you're seeing this amazing entrance. It's like it's this pomp, you know, to it, where it's like you don't, you go to like a wrestling show and it's like it just feels like two guys wrestling and there's nothing there. There's no type of gravitas or any type of emotion going into it. It's just like, oh, it's two guys wrestling.
See that, and that's what made that. But that's what made the appeal with WWE for so many years is people legit looked at WWE. People looked at the independents as the minor leagues because it was two guys wrestling in the gym for fucking 15 to 30 minutes, busting their asses, and then WWE was known as the pomp and circumstance. It was known as the light show. It was known as the pyro show. And it was a competition. It was a reason. It gave people reason to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna spend a couple $100, but I'm gonna see superstars, and I'm gonna see pyrotechnics, and I'm gonna see a big atmosphere, and and like fucking 30 to 40, 50 to 80,000 people all liking what I like. There was an appeal factor to that, and that's why it was like, yeah, I'm gonna spend hundreds and close to thousands of dollars, but especially if you went to Mania, it's like, fuck, I'm gonna see a tremendous fucking fireworks show in April.
Like, okay, I like you said, like, where you go into it and then you hear you hear the loud bang, you feel the flames, or like you feel like the explosion on your skin. Like, you feel it.
Yeah.
Like, and it gives you a weird, like, it gives you this feeling
rush.
of...
It gives you an adrenaline rush, honestly.
Exactly. It gives you an adrenaline rush, especially if you're a little kid. Like, it's just like this fucking loud bang,
bro,
and you hear the music, and you have... It's just like, if you're a kid, or you're, you're an adult, like, going to this, it gives you... It pumps you up. Now,
dude,
what's there to pump you up? What's there to pump you up? And then you wonder... The situation is you're not entertaining the crowd, and they wonder why the crowd is becoming so fucking hostile towards them. Like, if the crowd... that should be everything that should tell you everything. That the crowd is trying to entertain themselves because WWE can't entertain them anymore.
Dude, I'm not, I don't mean to brag or anything. Not at all do I ever mean to, but I really wish that not only you, but I wish a lot of people were able to be, if they weren't or didn't, were able to be, to go to some of the shows back then. Because, let me tell you, as a kid being at Madison Square Garden, and then it's like, it's a fucking Saturday night, and it's like, and Howard Finkel comes out, he's like, "Good evening, New York," and then the fucking pyrotechnics go off in the ring, and it's like, the first match is like the Dudleys coming out the pyro, and then they're just like beating the shit out of like whoever the fuck, fucking Test and Albert, or whoever. It's like, fuck, like that match is just like, obviously you're not gonna see anything, overly special in it, but it was like, fuck, man, like, you fucking get pyrotechnics, and you like, shit's just, the energy is just so fucking real, like, it felt so raw, no pun intended, and it's like, fuck, man, like, the match isn't gonna be a 5-star classic, but I'm pumped up for the rest of the night, and then obviously Kane, it's like, if I had a dime for myself, and every time I've seen anybody in the audience fucking flip out when Kane made his entrance, because it, like, back, like, when he first debuted, you had, like, the little organ going, and like, da, like, warning you. When Kane come out, and you know this too, when you and I went to SmackDown a few years back, where you had no fucking preparation, it was just silence and then an explosion.
Yeah, and then you feel the flames on your face.
Yeah, and
like,
that's,
you feel
and,
the heat.
And that's what the fuck you want. That's what you want. Like, that was the signal of, you're about to see a 7-foot deranged motherfucker destroy somebody.
So, but how do you... This is the problem. How do you establish any type of emotional, like, attachment to any of these characters when the company is already kind of fucking them? Because it's just like, part of what was getting these guys over is the production side of things, the pyro. I know people are going to roll their eyes and say, well, what does that mean? It's like, no, it's part of what got people over, especially in the Attitude Era, was their entrance. Obviously, do you really think, like, if Goldberg didn't have, like, his whole entrance, which is, his entrance was, like, 2/3 of his whole act, right? He would come out, do the entrance, and then fucking spear and jackhammer, and that would be it.
You know what I want people to do? I'm sorry, Pat, but you know what I want people to do who have the WWE games, and then it doesn't even have to be the 2K games, it could be any of the SmackDown vs. Raw games, or, the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. I want you to take Goldberg for an example. I want you to go into custom entrance. I want you to delete the pyro, and then watch his entrance without the pyro. And then I want you to I want people that see that realize what we're saying here is, it looks so fucking silly that some little things like that meant a hell of a lot to at least us growing up, because it was something that was like, man, that's the fucking dope. Especially Goldberg, where it was like, this motherfucker's breathing out fucking smoke through his nose. And now it's just like, oh, here comes blah, 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 to just flashing lights. Like, Braun comes out, and he's just like, he has the big, theme where he growls, and that's cool. But it's like, how fucking badass would it be as you hear the roar, and it's just giant fucking things of fire and smoke.
Exactly. It's like, it should feel like a rock concert. Like, it should feel like it feels like it should be larger than life, and they've taken that away to put in fucking LEDs that are... Who asked for them? Seriously, who asked for these LEDs? And I know they've been installed for, 2 years now?
Well, they've been using LED, like an LED entrance stage for about 10 years now. Like, if you remember, like, you know, I know you were watching On and Off, but you remember, like, you know, when they got rid of the fist and the trapezoid stage, they replaced it for the same exact set, which, that was another thing that pissed me off for so long, and even now, it's like, I understand now they have 2 different sets, but it's like, and even the pay-per-views too, dude, it's like, I don't want fucking LED shits. Give me a couple props. Give me giant banners with the brand's logo or the pay-per-view logo, and make it similar to the make me feel like I'm watching something that's at least like it screams, hey, this show has an identity. You know, it's like I watch Money in the Bank. You know, yeah, the ladders are cool, but bring back those fucking giant, you know, money trucks. You know, if I'm watching Extreme Rules, I want to see fucking, you know, police guardrails everywhere, and I want to see trash cans hanging from the fucking rafters, and I want to see tables and chairs and ladders hanging when it's TLC. You know, I don't want to see fucking, you know, a giant, you know, oh, here's a giant projector screen with, you know, whatever. So I don't know. I'm just pointing out little details like that.
It just seems lazy because it's like it's gotten to a situation where
that's why everything feels the same. That is exactly why everything feels the same now.
That's the perfect way of describing it. Like everything is basically like a carbon copy, cookie cutter version of the same show.
That's why I think that's another reason why I think people gravitated toward NXT a lot quicker, was because it was like the first, like even a couple years ago when they weren't doing the brand split, it was like they had the same exact stage. The ropes were both always white. The ring posts were both always white. It was just, oh, we're going to change the Raw banners for SmackDown banners, and the lights are going to be blue instead of red. Whereas NXT was like, it's in a smaller building. The stage is a little different. You know, the ring canvas is black instead of blue. The ropes are yellow instead of white. The ring posts are black instead of white. It was just a different, and even still to this day, now they don't even, like, they tried out the LED stuff, and now they just don't use it at all, ever. Sometimes they use it for takeovers, like, they'll probably use it for takeover, this Sunday.
I have no problem with it being used to takeover, but it's just like,
yeah,
but they don't overuse it. That's the thing. They should have realized not to overuse it. It's no one asked for it. That's the main thing. I look at it and I go, who was like chomping at the bit for them to get LED like boards on the side of the turnbuckles and the ring itself? Like, who was asking for that?
Who probably is the same sheeple that buy the toy rings that replicate that came with Jinder My Bulls and a 50-year-old version of Goldberg. Those rings are like $100 a piece.
Why? Oh God, yeah. Why is it? Why the fuck did they like only have that one version of Goldberg?
No, they're making a classic version now.
It took them like how many years?
They're making a classic version, and they're packing it with a display stand that comes with his music.
But I don't get why they thought it was a good idea to like do any of this, because it's just more like it's cost cutting for the sake of just buying stupid bullshit that doesn't make any sense.
But they could just go.
How many guys have joking about this like 2 years ago? I mean, you and Earl's joked about this, but like, how many people have actually gotten hurt with that fucking thing?
Sami Zayn, Cesaro. I think Finn got roughed up on it once. I've seen people get busted open on those things. Quite a few in the past 2 years. A good, more than it should be. Like nobody should be getting hurt on this. Like, there's no reason why they should be having fucking diamond plate, covers on the tops of this. It should be
that
fucking
should just
vinyl.
be like, that should just be padding.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any goddamn sense too, because when you want something to like cushion the blow so the LED doesn't get fucking damaged too.
Yeah.
Like, common sense would be like, oh, you hit the padding, the LED is fine, it didn't take damage. Oh no, we're gonna put diamond plating, so when you hit it, you're gonna hit it as hard as possible and dislodge something because it isn't cushioning the fucking blow. That makes all the sense in the fucking world. And you know what the best part is? Like, couldn't they have just done it? I don't know how they set it up or who had the idea to like make it that way. But shouldn't it have been like the LED should have been like further down so it isn't jutting up? Like, it should have been like a situation where they had like, I don't know, like a good, like it should have went up to maybe like the second turnbuckle, and then the rest should have just been like a situation where, so you don't, like when you go up to the top rope, if something happens, you don't get like a balls full of like LED or, I don't know, have your fucking teeth knocked out because it's like jutting up with that fucking stupid diamond plate.
I mean, it's one of these scenarios where they look at and they went, oh, well, this is the only thing that's logical to us now. And that being that they saw how they wanted to design it and thought, well, the only way we could actually screw this thing together is if we have the inner piece where the decals go and have that as the support to hold the screens, and they only were able to mold it from from where the actual ring apron is up to the top. I don't know. Again, I know we're spending more time than we should, but it's one of these things where it's like, I understand back in the day, like in the 80s, and, people are going to look at this, they grew up in that time, and go, why are you guys so complaining so much about this? All we had back then was just a curtain that had a giant WWF logo or a neon sign. I hate to sound spoiled and whatever, but we did grow up in a period where, like Pat said, we grew up in a time where it was all fireworks and, you were all pumped up for Raw because of all the firework, and you were pumped for SmackDown because of the giant fist. And that coincides with what I'm about to say is, you look at like a period like SummerSlam, which is in a few days, and for a fact it's just going to be the same set you see on Raw and SmackDown. Whereas back in the day, it was this giant 50-foot tall set with like palm trees on the side and a giant poster that said SummerSlam.
Yeah, but it's even the SummerSlam, like the logo for SummerSlam is just going to be the same one they used last year.
No. Oh, yeah, I know, but like I missed like the two logos.
That's even lazy. Like, how hard is it to just, I don't know, come up with a different design for a different year? Like it's like every year,
what WrestleMania does.
It's gotten like the Super Bowl. You're like, what? Like every up until like the 2007, 2008, or actually no, a little bit later. I think it was like 2011. I think that was when they stopped doing like the new designs. It's like every year there used to be like a different design for each pay-per-view. Like, you go back and you go, oh, WrestleMania, you can see the obvious difference between like 17 and 18, or there was an actual shift in design, whereas now every single design is the same. Like,
I mean, outside of WrestleMania, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, even WrestleMania, they just added that like stupid little jester hat for New Orleans. If it wasn't New Orleans,
they changed the color.
Like,
they changed the color schemes at least.
Yeah, but it's such a fucking lazy design. It's like, come on, you couldn't get a fucking graphic designer to just go on, like, you were joking about this, but like Sony Vegas, like you couldn't get a graphic designer to go on Sony Vegas and like come up with a better design than just, hey, let's just change the color slightly and add like a jester hat for New Orleans. It's like, yeah, you're so talented in coming up with the laziest design possible.
Did you, by the way, also, have you seen the design for WrestleMania 35 that's going to be in New York?
Is it bad or is it good?
Yes.
Is it? Oh no. It's. I'm not gonna say is it bad. I'm just gonna say is it lazy? Is it lazy?
How well do you know this company?
Okay, so it's lazy. Okay.
Here you go.
Okay. I'm gonna make a guess. It's gonna be.
Just take a guess
before
you look.
It's the same logo as last year, but it's now with the Empire State Building.
Close. It's a design. It's a New Yorkish design.
Taxi cabs.
Nope.
Is it with taxi cabs? Statue of
Nope.
Liberty.
There you go. Take a look.
Oh my god. They're so fucking lazy.
We made it black and red because we never did that before. And we have gold. Even though the Statue of Liberty's not gold, we're going to make it gold.
It's the same design. It's the same fucking design.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I will say one thing. The font you have to keep. That font.
They changed the font around.
Yeah, but that I'm gonna be one of those old school purists. You gotta keep. I'm mad that the fucking because now it's like back in the day the S used to like droop down a little bit over and it would connect with I believe it would connect with the fucking whatever the letters with the R I think. Now it's just like everything's too symmetrical. And I hate to sound all fucking Archie Schmarty here, but it's. I don't know. I'm not. There is one logo that someone made on Google that I'm looking at now that it's the same font, but it's like they put a little bit more like simplistic yet less. I don't know. It doesn't look like hokey lazy. It's like okay.
I'm gonna prove my point here. Look at. Actually, no. It went back to the 80s.
Here's a custom logo.
This is basically the 80s. Because in the 80s, all the fucking logos looked the same. And then, like, in the 90s, that's when they changed everything. And then, they actually put effort into, like, changing the design.
Yeah, and now... Dude, I hate I hate the fucking Royal Rumble logo. All it is just basic fucking font you would find on Microsoft Office with a giant red line going across. It is the worst. It is the absolute worst fucking logo. I
hate the SummerSlam logo though. I do not
the giant
like that
star,
anymore.
the giant star.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? It doesn't even look like it's advertising wrestling. It looks like they ripped off the Carl's Jr. logo.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Oh, I swear to God, like I feel like Carl's Jr. is just gonna fucking sue them at some point, going, it's intellectual property. And then Meltzer's just gonna be like, "Told you."
Actually, yeah, right. I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's such a lazy fucking logo.
Yeah, see what I mean? Actually,
that's the worst.
The only WrestleMania that they changed the font for was 23. Everything else is the same thing. They've kept that same font, been modifying it for 30 plus years, which I'm fine with. Like I said, you need like that font to me was just, it's like people copy that to this day with everything, like fucking. Even when I'm watching the Something to Wrestle With podcast with Bruce Pritchard and Tyron Thompson, they have logos that have that same font. So it's like, that's something iconic you have to keep. But
what I'm saying is, like, at least like in years before that, they did really cool things with the graphics around the logo. Now it's just like, hey, let's do the most generic thing we can do with it.
Well, okay, like
how do we make it look generic? Oh, we'll just put like some like red and some blue.
Like, all right,
maybe change the color a little bit. Like, it's just like, okay, after you look at the logos, and then after the
I'd say after 30.
Yeah, after 30, they all have the same basic look.
Yeah, like I didn't like.
They all have the same basic look.
I didn't like. I didn't like 26 to 28 logo. Like those were pretty much the same thing. 29 I thought is probably one of my favorites. 30 is really nice. Yeah, 31 is just generic. It's just what are they? Yeah, just a play button. I like the color scheme. Yeah. I like the color scheme on the 32. I just like red, white, and blue. But yeah, it's that's the best of the bunch. 33 is so fucking bland. 34 is basically a ripoff of 30, and then 35 is just 35 looks like the logos for WrestleMania 12 and WrestleMania 14 fucked each other.
Kinda, yeah. I'd say 13 and 11 are my favorites.
13's pretty dope. I like WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, 20's pretty cool. WrestleMania 2000, I think, is the most iconic.
Yeah. You know what? I'd say maybe WrestleMania 2000 is probably... I'd say that's probably is my absolute favorite. And I'm not going by WrestleMania. I'm just talking about actual, like, logo. I want to see if there's any one of these for SummerSlam. Yeah, so we could see like the transition of like SummerSlam logos.
I absolutely hate the new SummerSlam. I think other than the Royal Rumble, I hate the SummerSlam one the most. And to be honest, I'm completely indifferent to Survivor Series. I don't even remember what the logo looks like.
You know what's funny? I was thinking the same thing. I don't even remember what Survivor Series logo looks like.
That's so bad, though. It's like you should instantly remember, like, especially if it's your big four. Like, I think I remember like Backlash and like Payback. The logos for that more than I do for Survivor Series,
which is fucking bad.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if we're going to mention SummerSlam logos, my favorite will always be that green and blue. I know people love the old school 80s one, but like you said, it's pretty much the same thing as to everything else. They all look the same from that time period. The green and the blue, I feel like, are the best. What was the best logo?
I feel like Vince is just like, he didn't want to change anything at all, like, during the 90s. He just had to. And now he's just switching back to everything, going, yep, now I can do everything I did back in the 80s.
Oh,
the rest is going to be terrible. There's not going to be any blood.
No, the 80s was not that.
Fuck.
No, I went back and watched. Now you listen here. I went back and watched SummerSlam 90 because everyone kept talking about, oh, you gotta go watch Heart Foundation versus Demolition. So I did, and then I watched the main event back, which was Rick Rude and Warrior in the cage, and Rick Rude was fucking bleeding. So they had blood back then. And it wasn't like an accidental thing. Like, he bladed right in the typical point. So yeah, they did have blood. Wow, yeah. Look at the Survivor Series logo. And it's so funny looking at next to the Royal Rumble.
Oh, they changed it?
That's apparently been the logo for the past couple of years.
What?
That's been the
that
logo.
Stupid orange and... Whoa, I thought it was that stupid orange and blue logo thing.
No, that's been the logo apparently for the past couple of years. I've never fucking realized that.
No. Oh, Survivor Series. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was thinking of SummerSlam.
Yeah, no, Survivor Series.
Wow. Yeah, what the fuck? That is so generic looking.
And apparently it's been like that since 2014. Or 2013, actually.
I guess. I don't fucking remember it. Good job.
No, hang
Good
on.
job, whoever designed that.
Hang on, I'm going back. I'm
Generic.
actually going back to look at the posters. I'm looking. Okay. All right, 2010 had that. All right, 2009 had a version of that. Let's see. 2008 had that fucking logo. Wow. Okay, so they had the same logo for 10 years.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah, they had that same logo for 10 years, so... Oh, good job. Good job. Again, in this...
Good job, whoever designed that. You made the most generic-looking logo you could possibly make.
And this just goes to what we've been talking about for well over half an hour now. It's just lazy production, and lazy production goes into... It takes away from the actual fucking products.
Wait...
To me, it does
I'm
at least.
Wait. I'm actually looking at the Survivor Series logos from, like, the 80s, and they actually look different.
Yeah.
They actually look different. What the shit?
It shows that they actually... See, it wasn't all generic. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at the posters. Okay, so 87 and 88...
Ooh, yeah, no, I forgot about the one from 2001. That one actually looks pretty dope.
I'm gonna go with I'm digging the late 80s, early 90s Survivor Series logo with the arched where the word Survivor is arched around the series font. Yeah, they had
Which
that
one is
logo.
it?
I'll send it to you. Hang on, I'll send you
It's
the
the 80. Oh, it's the 89 one.
Yes.
Yes, okay, I see it.
And they've actually used that one from 89 going all the way to 1995.
See, I don't mind that. That's like at least a decent design. But they like had enough sense to like change it over the years or like change the graphics behind it so it didn't look like the same generic thing. It's like you just made it black and white.
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah, the Survivor
Like, it just looks bad.
I like the 2000 one that you're talking about. They used that again for 2000. But, I mean, if we're going to talk about fucking Survivor Series logos, and I know there's going to be some veterans and by some veterans out there, I mean, you know, especially with this show, I mean, Bubby, because he shitted on me for liking Survivor Series 1998 because it didn't have at all any elimination matches. But again, we're talking simply aesthetics here. That logo will always be my favorite when they did the Deli Games tournament.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
And they incorporated that into the
fucking
stage. And the stage was a giant skull. And that's another thing, too. They had no screens back then. It was just a giant... Like, for that pay-per-view, it was just a giant skull. And they had little grids that had fire coming out for 3 hours. And that looked so fucking badass. It legit looked like you were a part of, like, some type of fucking, like, something out of Saw.
Yeah, no, that's what they should be doing. Fuck.
Yeah, and they did that right around the time that Halloween Havoc had the giant, or I'm sorry, they had the Great Pumpkin. like, as much as I don't really care for that show, the TFWS or TWFS, you know who who I'm referring to, the good old racist fucking winner over there. They do have a good point where it was like with Halloween Havoc, where like they would have it like that set that they had was a little cornball because you have this giant pumpkin and you have a fucking gremlin or a goblin holding onto the pumpkin, and one of them was like, oh yeah, it looks like something that you would see out of SpongeBob and Patrick. Or at least it was,
my God.
But
I will say I didn't really care too much for the SummerSlam logos from like the early 2000s because they just look like a Shrek logo.
Oh, I don't know. I love that green and blue.
I do not. I like it. It looks like a logo for either like Scooby Doo or like Shrek.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you.
Now looking at it, like none of them look all that good. So I'm looking at the one from 99, and it looks like the logo from like Backyard Wrestling.
Yeah, it's. I do like look at the 98 one though. I feel like 98 they were alright with the logos.
Yeah, that one, and it says Highway to Hell. That's actually pretty cool.
Well, they actually used the opening entrance song for that was AC/DC's Highway to Hell, and it was in the garden.
Huh. Awesome
fucking pay-per-view. Probably one of the best SummerSlams you could actually go back and watch. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh God, that's such a generic looking one.
Which one?
Oh, they did like they did an alternate logo for 2012. And it somehow is even worse. Somehow it is even worse than the logo they have now.
What does it look like?
Really? Oh, it's bad.
Can you send me it?
It is fucking generic. It is one of the most generic logos I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty. Wow, oddly enough, that's the same exact date as SummerSlam this year, August 19th. Are you sure it's not this year's SummerSlam?
No, that one is from 2012.
I'm pretty convinced that this is this year's SummerSlam logo.
Oh God, please don't. No.
I'm pretty good. All you gotta do is take out the City of Angels and just put Brooklyn.
Oh.
Or like they like to say because they try to act hip, we in the BK. We in the BK. What, Burger King?
I fucking hate you, Eric. I really do. Oh, God.
Hey,
why are they so bad? Why are they so bad?
Who, this company?
Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, they're a $1 billion company, but they're, like, all blithering idiots.
Because they're a bunch of grown-ass men that just lost, or no, there are a bunch of senior citizens running the company that just lost total fucking sight of what would look hip.
Yeah, but like, why would you go with like the most generic logos possible? Like, it's not a fucking. It's like it isn't rocket science here. Like, I get that you would want to go with like a similar logo because you want to like establish, some brand.
I'm finding worse one. 2009 is that might be the runner up or the winner.
The worst, the most generic.
Yeah, that might. Yeah, that might be a winner here. By all means, folks, for all those that are sitting there going, "Oh, we're not able to see anything you guys are sharing with each other," you could go fucking look it up. SummerSlam 2009. Look at that one, folks.
I mean, the poster's pretty cool. The logo is like, why?
That's my point. I'm not talking about the poster. I'm talking strictly just the emblem, the logo. You know, that's
Why?
And don't get it twisted, folks. We're not just making fun of WWE here. A lot of other companies, they don't have that. They're not that fucking spectacular either. Though I don't really don't care for the All In logo personally.
Yeah, that's kind of lazy.
Yeah, so don't think we're just targeting WWE.
Why? Okay, why is it like these companies can't like go and say, "Hey, let's get an artist." Doesn't need to be like an extremely well-known artist. You can just get any fucking artist. I'm pretty sure like Cody could have picked. Okay, I'm like now I'm actually gonna talk shit about them because fuck it, I don't really give a shit.
Fuck.
You could have got any artist anywhere and just said, "Hey, we'll feature your shit on like our show. We'll give you like whatever you think is a fair price for the art you're gonna do," and just I don't know, pick the fucking artist out of a hat, and you could have had like a cool logo. Like,
yeah.
But no, we're gonna make a generic logo that basically just looks like the fucking Royal Rumble logo.
Yeah, or Extreme Rules.
Like, no, it literally is the Royal Rumble logo because it's the red stripe going through it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and that's why I always laughed when people were always making fun of like Impact in TNA, whereas like oh man, like the production is not that good. It's like the writing was always hit or miss. The production and their actual like logo designs are actually pretty good for the most part. Sometimes a lot of them shit the bed, but like this year's Slammiversary logo looks fucking nice. And again, I prefer that over the All In poster or logo, I should say.
I mean, and also look at New Japan. They have really really nice logos for their like Wrestle Kingdoms.
I like the G1. Like the G1 Climax one from this year was really nice. I want to send some to you, and then we could probably move on after this. But I want to. So this was a logo that was rumored to be the company's current logo. This was like fan made, and it was like rumored for years. This came out in like 2012, and it's basically what the WWF logo was in the 80s, but it was made in like the color scheme of what they had in the 2000s, as well as the same design as the 80s, like I said. So I want to know what you thought, because we know, obviously the logo now they have is really fucking lazy. I want to know what you'd think of this, or even if they could have obviously tweaked it a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, obviously it's not great.
It's not bad. I kind of like it. I think the color, yeah, like you said, the color scheme could be a little bit different, but it's better than what they have now.
Well, I like the color. I think the color scheme, like the black and white and red, because that's what they have now. That's fine because, I think they could have been a little more symmetrical with the E going actually into the W's, because like all they did was just take the giant W that they've been using for the past decade and a half to avoid copyright lawsuits. All they did was just take the W and then they just attached the letter E next to it. But yeah, they could have done something a little different there. But I don't know. It's better than what they have now. It's just they're very fucking lazy. And for a $1 billion company, that's what we're coinciding here. That's why this is something not a lot of people talk about, because it's such simple shit that they're just so fucking
it's minuscule things that we shouldn't have to bring up.
Yeah,
it's
we
like
shouldn't have to.
Everybody credits them with like, oh, they have amazing production, and it's like, okay, like on the camera side of things, but like there's so many things that they could do, or I mean, it's just like we've had conversations where we're like, we thought of things that they could cut, like cost cutting measures that they could end up doing that wouldn't cost them a fucking thing. It's like, like, I don't know, if you limit the amount of time that you have to like put those fucking like LEDs together, you would be saving a lot of money. I mean, in the pyro, it's not like you would have to do pyro all the fucking time. But it's like when you bring back Kane, you're doing a fucking pay-per-view, and he's coming out to like stupid bullshit flames on a fucking LED screen. It's like, you fucked up,
Yeah, and again, the logo thing, it comes down to everything. It comes down to the belts, because the belts look fucking horrendous now because of the shitty designs that they have, because they can't be fucking creative anymore. Like when you're like, I hate looking, and I hate it, in a sense of, it's just how sad it is. I hate when when a sports team, like like a baseball team or a football team wins a Super Bowl, or a hockey team wins the Stanley Cup, or a baseball team wins the World Series, and then the Triple H posts a picture. It's like, here's the Chicago Cubs, championship belt, and it's like, you look at the Cubs logo, and it's an older logo, but it's like, it looks nice, and it's just, here's their logos meshed in with a bunch of golden rhinestones, and in the middle is just a giant W that looks like it was drawn in fucking first grade.
Yeah, but that's another issue I have with the belt itself, and we're not gonna get into a whole thing about it. I'm gonna just say it's so lazy that they just have the same. Like, we've mentioned this numerous times, but it's so lazy that they have the same fucking logo for every single belt. And then, on top of that, it's the same. But you know what? It's also the same in other sports, because now
I hate the UFC belts.
I don't know if you know this, but like the Super Bowl rings are all the fucking same now.
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl rings are all the fucking same. Like they stopped doing like custom designs because I guess it costs too much. Again, another billion-dollar company that makes more money than God, but apparently they can't.
And one more thing I want to point out, I'm gonna, and this is it for me on this subject. One thing I really hate, if we're gonna talk about the belts, I absolutely hate the concepts of, oh, so and so won the WWE Championship, we gotta put their side plates in as soon as they won the belt, because you know what that means to me, like. If they, like, back in the day, it used to be, okay, you won the belt, all right, we're going to take out that person's nameplate, put your nameplate in it. It would just say, I don't know, Eddie Guerrero on the belt. And it'd be like, okay, like, realistically, that doesn't take that long to do. But it's like, to actually sit there, because they've made no hesitation to make a YouTube video with Orange County Choppers showing the process of how they made the belt. All those emblems you see, like when Bray Wyatt has his custom shit and AJ has the P1 logos on the belt, all that shit has to get put through Orange County Choppers, where they custom make this shit out of metal, and it has to get stained and designed and everything. That shit's a long process, so it looks so fucking scripted to have. Oh yeah, look who has the belt now. Yeah, you spent about a month making the fucking props for him. So of course it just, when you look at that, it's like, it looks so fucking scripted.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what else? Besides that, it's like, okay, you put the nameplates in it. But it's like, okay, how you it's not like you customize the belt at all. It's not like you're holding onto a belt that means anything. It doesn't even say champion on it. It just has a big fucking E. What are you are you like the champion of I don't know. It doesn't make any
does say
fucking
champion.
sense.
It does say champion. It's just the font is so small you can't see it.
Oh God, I don't even. It's just it doesn't look like a fucking championship belt. It looks like a gaudy piece of garbage that like some fucking like I don't know. It looks like some kind of like something a juice head would wear because they thought it looks good with their like like tattoo shirt.
I don't know. The giant WWE belt looks legitimately like a fucking belt buckle. It's a belt buckle.
But that's as far away from what you want, because the joke has always been you don't want it to look like a belt. It's a title. It's not supposed to be noticed as a prop. It's supposed to mean something. There's supposed to be some prestige to it. And it's like, okay, you have a giant fucking WWE logo, and it looks like a giant belt buckle, so it's a belt. It's not a title.
Yeah. Yep.
God, they're fucking stupid.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that, we talked about them, distantly before, but, what's the most common parody logo today? The fucking Bullet Club. That logo is so minimalist, yet it's so minimalist, and it's so simple, but it doesn't look fucking just lazy.
Generic. It doesn't look generic. There's actual, so you can tell, an actual artist sat down and came up with the logo. Like, someone actually took time out of their busy life to sit down and think about.
The font.
Hey,
the font is very easy to replicate. It's not that hard, but the actual design of the skull. And and the fucking
the guns, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the guns and the bullets. And it's like you type in Bullet Club logo, you will see so many parodies. Like, dude, I remember being at a fucking Bernie Sanders rally a couple years ago, and there was and people were wearing shirts that said Bernie Club.
I still see parody shirts. Like, I've seen parody shirts of, Godzilla, parody shirts with Epic Mealtime. Like, I still see Bullet Club parody shirts.
I've seen someone Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Like, it's an easy logo to make, but some of the most recognizable logos aren't like super complex, but they actually had somebody sit down and go, what would look good? Not like somebody that took 10 minutes to just slap a shitty looking logo on go online and just pick out a font and just slap a shitty line through it and call it a day.
Yeah,
or just outright rip off Hardee's and put a fucking star and call it orange and blue and call it a fucking day. Because that's what WWE does. They slap something together and they call it a day.
Dude,
without rhyme or reason, just fuck it. We're gonna slap it together. That's your logo.
Dude,
now go fuck yourself.
Even though the EMW logo that I've had for a couple years now, even though it is basically the ECW logo, someone would look at that and go, oh fuck, it's it's a red and blue logo with blue barbed wire going around red logos, red letters I should say. that looks like it took more fucking effort than, just two fucking W's and a swoosh through it.
Like, okay, our current logo, that actually took me a while to figure out what, like, it wasn't just like, hey, fuck it, let's just slap it together. It took some collaboration between you and me. Obviously, yeah, we're not professional, graphic artists, but we did our best, and I'd say it looks like a pretty professional-looking logo. It looks better.
Again, yeah, it looks better than the fucking Royal Rumble or All In logo.
Exactly.
And some podcasts out there, it's just, not slating them by any means because we're not fucking perfect, but it holds up next to some of the really good shows out there. Like you look up like you look at like the fucking, I don't know, like the something Wrestle With, for instance, or Wrestle Observer, or or even the Steve Austin podcast. It's like a lot of them were just pretty plain looking, and it's like ours. It's like it's not special by any means, but hell, it holds up. It doesn't look like, hey, I could just make this on fucking paint.
Exactly. That's the best. That's the thing they should have been looking for. It's like, hey, can you make it very easily on a computer in like 10 minutes? Okay, maybe we shouldn't be making that into a fucking logo for a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yep. Well, but anyway, moving on. And by the way, guys, another reason why we felt, fuck it, why not just talk about this, is a lot of the news that happened this week. You don't really, other than like Neidhart, passing, a lot of the stuff can either be talked about at another point. Just because it broke this week, I'd rather spend, okay, Daniel Bryan, being focused on the 2K game. We could talk about that shit when it actually comes out, and I actually have a time to play it and, sit down and, talk about it that way and critique it. I'm not going to talk about, oh, it was announced today that they made a mode about him. That's cool, but, it's really not a lot there. I do think we could talk about the shit with Randy Orton being accused of pulling his junk out at new writers.
What?
While speaking on episode 48 of the MLW podcast, former WWE writer Court Boyer told a story about how Randy Orton used to show off his junk to new writers before touching it and asked them to shake his hand. For every new writer that would show up, he'd come in the room, put his hand down his pants, pull out his dick, touch himself, and say, "I'm Randy Orton, shake my hand." "Oh, you don't want to shake my hand? You're big leaguing me? That's fucked up, man. I should go tell Vince and Steph you won't shake Randy Orton's hand." Writers would all start sweating and backing up in the corner, all while Orton's junk is still hanging out. Orton would then cut a promo on a guy for about 5 minutes, all while his junk is hanging out. Court mentions that Orton was very intense, so you could never tell if he was messing with you or he was just really hot. Court mentioned that Orton tried to pull out that stunt on him on his first day, and right as he was about to pull his junk out, Stephanie walked in and he put it back in his pants. Court describes it as a teacher entering the classroom. When asked if he would have shaken his hand, Court says, "I don't know. I'm a bit of a germaphobe." Court says this was something that Orton did during his entire time while in the WWE, and is surprised that Orton didn't get hit with sexual harassment. Brad Shepard of Barn Burners said that he was reached out to WWE for comment, and they revealed that they are looking into the allegations.
Wow. I have no words. I have no fucking words. That is literally the biggest shitty, that is the shittiest thing I've heard a wrestler do to, a writer. like bar none.
You're doing that to the boys. Like if you're doing it, like if you're like Orton and you're doing that to someone at at FCW, it's like okay, you're a fucking scumbag for doing that. But it's like you're being a piece of shit in the sense of you're a bunch of fucking wrestlers. It's on the level of like when like you know Orton would take a shit in Kelly's bag or X-Pac would take a shit in Sonny's bag. It's like yeah, you kind of probably being a dick to someone who's also being a dick, but it's like. To do that to fucking writers who you're only gonna see in certain fucking meetings or when they come up to you asking you for input or an idea, it's like, dude, grow up. And he's talking about, oh, you're big leaguing me. You're big leaguing them. By thinking you're hot shit by just going, oh, let me pull my schlong out to a bunch of fucking writers.
That's so fucking gay too.
Oh,
it's so fucking gay. Like
it's
touching
super.
Your own dick in front of like a staff of writers.
Grown fucking men, I'm sorry for saying this, but if he did this in front of the fucking the Diva Search models, it would be like, yeah, that's by all means that's sexual fucking harassment.
No, but this is super. This is
it's sexual harassment regardless.
I hate it is sexual harassment
regardless.
No, I'm dead serious. No, this is not a joke. This is actual sexual harassment. They in most workplaces, regardless of whether or not it's a man or a woman, if you do anything like with your penis and you're making them like feel uncomfortable, like you can pretty much say anything is sexual harassment in like the workplace environment now. That is anything where it's like physical or makes you uncomfortable. You can say it's sexual harassment. And this is sexual harassment. Like, obviously, I don't know if he was getting fucking sexually aroused by it, like pulling at his fucking dick and, like, making the guy, shake his hand. That's such a slimy fucking thing to do. Like, God, what the fuck is wrong with him?
It's just a never-ending thing.
I was a fan of Orton. Like, yeah, it's just why?
Look, it's one. Here's the thing, and this is the same thing I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about we got to talk about CM Punk too. It's the same thing that look at my example because I'm not going to mention the obvious fucking thing that everyone brings up with Benoit, but it's like. Look at me with Punk, where it's like Punk is still one of my favorites, but I acknowledge he's a fucking shady dude. I acknowledge he's an asshat. I acknowledge that. It's just nothing wrong with enjoying someone's work and knowing he's a piece of shit in real life. Like I don't care. I don't care if people enjoy Lars Ulrich's work or people enjoy the Tommy Lee's work with Motley Crue or Gene Simmons from Kiss. Like, I don't care if you guys like their work. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that guy was good at his craft, but, there's also nothing wrong with saying, he's good at his craft, but holy shit, I would never want to fucking meet him. It's totally fine for being a fan of somebody and just not wanting to meet them. That's totally fucking... That is more of an adult thing to do. Than to just be, oh yeah, fuck, I'm not gonna watch anything of his anymore because of what he did. Yeah, that's understandable too, but at the same time, it's especially with the thing of Orton, where it's like, yeah, he's been known for doing shady shit and being a fucking scumbag. Him bumming cigarettes off of fans, yeah, that's it could have at least been a thing like, hey, I'll take a picture of you if you give me an autograph. I'll be like, okay, that's still fucking weird, but fine. You should do it regardless, but I don't know.
It's just such a shit... Like, I still enjoy his work. I still enjoy the character. It's just... Now it's gotten to the point, like, I understand, like, I know why Earls doesn't like the guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that.
Yeah,
And now it makes a lot of I always give him the benefit of the doubt about the whole deserter thing, because it's just like, okay, maybe he just didn't want to be there. He was young at the time, so it's a shitty thing to do. But
when you hear shit like this, and it's like, this had been at least around the past fucking 10 years, and he's been growing up every year ever since. So it's like, you mean to tell me that he's been growing up every year since, he's doing stuff like this, and you mean to tell me that, him, and you're not wrong for your opinion, but I'm just saying, you mean to tell me that him bowing out of the fucking military is just him thinking, oh yeah, I'm young? It's him just being a fucking brat. He's being a fucking brat, and I enjoy his work too, but I acknowledge the guy's a piece of shit in real life. And he could say now, oh yeah, I changed my ways, and I'm a man that's proud of his family. That's the way he wants you to be. That's the way he wants to be presented. You don't know. He's probably still doing scummy shit to fucking new people. He's probably still being a fucking asshat to fans.
Yeah, that's probably the case. It's just shitty, to be honest, I kind of hope he gets in trouble. I hope he gets some kind of.
Well, I mean, he's not on SummerSlam, so he's not on the card at all for SummerSlam. I'd imagine that this feud between him and he was on SmackDown tonight. I did watch SmackDown. He was on, but it was more of they put him in a weird thing where it's Jeff had a match against Shelton, and then Orton's just off to the side on the fucking entrance ramp, looking at him from afar.
I kind of want him to get a suspension. I don't want him to be permanently banned from wrestling, but obviously this is not going to be enough to ever put the guy on the silence forever. But just give him a fucking suspension. Have somebody in the company. Having somebody in the company go, look, dude, this is not fucking acceptable anymore. You can't fucking bully people, and it's hazing. It's fucking hazing. And I'm actually surprised.
Haze.
I know they're writers. But you're gonna bully enough people, and eventually somebody's gonna go, hey, Randy, you look. You want to look down and then just fucking clock the dude as hard as you can.
Hey man, Joey Styles did it to JBL, so who's to say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who's to say that there's not someone out there that can, who's to say that fucking, fucking 125-pound soaking wet John Appleseed can't fucking clock Randy Orton in the face. He could easily.
There's actually writers out there that are MMA. MMA fighters or trained in martial arts.
Dude, Eric Bischoff was a 3rd-degree black belt.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, I'm not. You're not a pro wrestler, so you're not tough. You're not tough. You're not. You don't fucking take pile drivers and fucking backdrops. 300 days. A
real,
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I don't do that. I actually did fucking spend some time studying an actual discipline. Yeah, you're right. While you were off fucking abandoning your country's fellow fucking soldiers, I was out there fucking busting my ass, trying to fucking earn a fucking a judo fucking thing. So yeah, I'd imagine I'm waiting for the story. I'm waiting for a story. And again, I don't wish harm on him. I don't wish him to fucking get fired. I'm not one of these people that are oh, ban him from wrestling. I want him to get punched in the face, though. I want him to get fucking. I want him to fucking get punched in the face.
I would love to hear a story where he got punched in the face or just kicked in the dick. Just someone fall off and kick him in the balls so hard that he never did it again. Like, I just want that story.
Am I wrong?
I want him to get his comeuppance. I don't want him to be, like, banned from wrestling. Because it just seems like another JBL situation. Where it's like, I don't hate JBL, but I think he's a bully, and I think all bullies should get their just desserts.
It's the same thing when people saw, no pun intended, Bully Ray for many years. Where they look at him and they go, hey, look at this fucking asshat in the locker room. And again, he's cool. He's, I guess it depends. He was cool to us when we met him, but, it's one of these things where they have a reputation, and they have a reputation for a reason, and a lot of times it's not good.
I don't understand why guys like to do that, though. Like, I don't understand why.
It's the whole fucking wrestler mentality. It goes back. It's wrestlers trying to be like, hey, remember all those stories about like when fucking the Road Warriors would and the Steiners would fucking throw shit at each other while Jim Ross is fucking rolling blunt in the fucking front seat. It's like, yeah, let's replicate that in 2018. And it's like, no, buddy, we're not growing in a time where Andre the Giant can fucking moon an elderly couple.
Okay, that's actually just funny.
Yeah,
that's actually funny.
But do you actually think that if Braun Strowman mooned an elderly couple, that would go without?
Oh no, that would be like no,
exactly.
Not in today's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're completely right. But it's like, okay, there should be like a limit to what you do. Like, hazing should be like on a level where like I don't know, you fucking like throw shaving. Like, it should be like a joke from like Jackass. Like something goofy and funny.
Or like Viva La Bam. Or a little bit like Viva La Bam, where like Viva La Bam, like obviously they were a little more extreme with the ribs that they did, but it's like, there's nothing wrong with like putting a fucking like what was one of the gags that they did when they were in that RV going to Mardi Gras.
They burrowed into Vito's house.
Oh, dude, remember the one where they fucking blew out part of his house and they took out the bay window?
See, that's funny. Because he's just gonna buy him a new fucking house.
Dude, he didn't replace the window. If you remember, he took out his window.
He bought him a new, like, he either bought him a new car or a new house or something.
He took out the window, so then Vito got revenge and then destroyed his fucking Hummer. He he fucking hotwired his Hummer to go off of a hill to get demolished, and then Bam was like, okay, I'll make good for you. I'm proud of you that you got one up on me. So here's your replacement, and he put a fucking garage door where the window was.
Yeah, but that's genius though.
That's like rich people. That's what stupid rich people do. To be like, hey, I have the money to fix this. Let's and it's
but they all like, they're wrestlers. They can have the money to do something that's funny and like absurd, and actually have it be a funny story. So like, you smile rather than cringe when you like it. It didn't seem like a rib. It just seemed like a mean-spirited dickhead move, and that's the problem. It's that like, if he was ribbing the guy, like, it would have been funny if like he like gave him like, okay, a rib is I go to give a guy goes for a handshake and I like super glue his hand to like, I don't know, his laptop. That's a rib.
Or it's like, that's hey. Or it's hey, this person's obsessed with his tour bus. I'm gonna go on his tour bus, take a shit, and then have the fumes go out the entire tour bus.
Yeah.
Or it's like, It's fucking raunchy. It's fucked up, but it's like, you know what? They can fucking fix it. It's not that big of a deal. You're not, you know, if you can afford the damage, or if it's damage that's not, if it's like inexpensive and it's like, okay, we're all in on this together, then yeah. But it's like, hey, I'm gonna do this because it's funny to me, but they're not in on the joke. It's like, okay, yeah, you're just being a fucking cunt.
It's not even a joke. It's just like, it's creepy. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck just like rubs their dick and like
I am convinced.
Grab my hand.
I am convinced Orton found it funny.
Oh yeah, no, he is probably the only one.
I know. You know what? I know for a fact in my mind that Orton found it funny. I'm pretty fucking convinced. No one can convince me otherwise. Orton definitely found that funny.
Who the fuck? What? No, I'm like, but who would find that funny? Like, who the fuck just
other
rubs
than him
their dick and like goes and like? Oh god, that's so fucking weird.
Pat Patterson, maybe.
Oh no, Pat Patterson would have been like, "Oh, Randy."
Yeah. Oh, Randy, I really like when you did that.
You would, and like you would go for the hand. No, I wish. This is what I would have done. If I had heard from like the writer, like if I was a writer, I would have been like, "Oh, is there any like weird shit that goes on?" Oh yeah, whenever you're a new guy here, Randy comes in with his like dick, and like he shows off his dick for a while, like, grabs his dick, and then he makes you handshake. He gives you a handshake. You know, I'll go. You know, I'm gonna fix him.
And then just stick Pat Patterson on him.
Oh no! I would do worse. I would
Paul Blaine.
I would go for the no. I'd let him keep his dick out. And I would get one of the, like those Chinese finger, the Chinese finger traps.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that fucking hurt.
Either that or I'd handcuff his ass. I'd get scissors, cut his fucking trunks off or whatever the fuck he's wearing, and handcuff him and tell Patterson to go in the room with him. Randy has a surprise for you. He would never fucking do it again.
Or or you know what you could do. This is the Mark and me talking here. You could take what the fuck is his name? Yamaguchi. You could take fucking Yamaguchi and Funaki. You can take Yamaguchi, Funaki, and be like, hey, Orton is out there with his dick hanging out. It's like, okay, send in Yamaguchi, and it'd be like,
message, jumpy, beep, beep.
Oh man! Oh, that'd be great. Oh man!
Oh, you know what? I'm adding that into the thumbnail. I'm adding that into the thumbnail.
That would be hilarious, because that kind of reminds me of. You ever watch Police Academy?
Yeah. Like
one of the police academies where they. Oh god! It was like that little fucker that was always like. He was the one that was like he was always like kissing the ass of the commandant.
Right.
Like the one that always used to like. Yeah, so like he's the little fuck that would always like hang around him, and they like I forgot what movie it was. I think it was like 3 or 4, and they like trapped him in the room with like they trapped him in the room with a like they got this girl to like go in and make it seem like he was gonna have sex with her, and she took all his clothes and like kicked him out of the room, and he had to like walk the entire like length of the city to get back to the police academy, just butt ass naked.
Yeah.
Like, I wish somebody had the balls to just do that to him. And then just call everyone in. Like, just go on an announcement, like, just make, like a call and just say, oh, Randy wanted, like, hey, Vince, Randy wanted to see you. Just have him, like, trying to, like, sneak through the locker room, just, like, fucking completely naked. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's how you rip somebody. I wish I hope there's a story like that. I really wish that.
Yeah, hopefully he gets
what's
to
the
come
CM
up
Punk story?
Before that, there's the you get the sneak preview of the thumbnail this week. That's all it needs to be. Nice and simple.
Oh my god. Oh god. Oh my god.
I'm surprised. I'm literally surprised no one thought of this joke yet. I'm really surprised no one thought, hey, let's put the 2 and 2 together. Choppy, you're pee-pee. Oh, shit. But anyway, so, Paul Cabana is suing former best friend CM Punk for over $1 million.
Yeah, what the fuck? Is this, like, did Colt Cabana, like, pay for the lawyer or something?
According to a report from the Chicago Sun-Times, Scott Colton, better known as Colt Cabana, is now suing former best friend CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks, whose appearance on his Art of Wrestling podcast led to WWE Dr. Chris Amon suing the tandem of upwards of $4 million. Cabana, who claims Punk assured him in writing he would cover his legal fees, is suing Punk for $200,000 in general damages, in addition to $1 million in punitive and exemplary damages. Fuck, I got tongue-tied. In a strongly worded email, Punk asked Cabana to pay half of the $513,736 in legal fees, which equates to $256,868 in Punk's email, stating the following: to date, I have spent the $513 plus $1,000 on this Amon lawsuit. My outstanding current bill is at least $300K. Half of all this is yours. Divide the $513,736 by 2, and that is what you owe me, and what I expect you to pay me. Starting now, I will no longer be paying your bills. You are on your own. Whatever my bill is currently will be cut in half, and half will be yours. If you choose to make this all ugly, that's fine too. I hope you won't. But I gave up on you doing what is right a long time ago. After reports surfaced in 2016 that the relationship between the two was strained, I should say, due to Punk being upset with Cabana for reportedly showing up backstage at a WWE event, the two appeared to have reconciled throughout the years, and at times bizarre, week-long trial. The two shared an emotional embrace when the not guilty verdict was handed down. Punk referred to Cabana as his friend in a post-trial interview. In an ensuing interview with Busted Open Radio, however, Colt seemed hesitant to identify Punk as a friend, as the prominent indie star only did so far as being pressed by co-host Bubba Ray Dudley. Cabana said, "Me and Punk are kind of like you and Taz." So it's really bad, huh? Bully responded. "We're friends," Colt said tepidly. After developing a cult following, on the indie circuit. So in layman's terms, basically, because they're just furthering all the other shit to get you familiar if you don't know who the fuck Cabana is. So, in layman's terms, they're basically arguing now, in a legal matter of who's responsible for paying what.
Yeah, but that's such a come on, the dude. I'm sorry, but did he really think Colt Cabana was would want to fit that bill? Come on, did he really think he was gonna foot the bill? Come on, the guy, Colt Cabana is, I mean, he's had a good career, but he never had the WWE money like Punk. So,
who also is getting UFC checks. Who's also getting checks for his comic book that he wrote that I don't know how well it's sold. For who knows whatever else.
And he's also in a movie. He landed a role for some movie. He's gonna be headlining some movie. I have no idea what the movie is, but you're making money. You're Colt Cabana is doing what, a couple of shows per year, and he's also doing announce work for Ring of Honor. He has a decent living, but really, you to make him pay $500,000, especially since you're the one that went on his show and caused the fucking problem to begin with. When you go out of your way to say, okay, especially when you even put in writing that you would aid for the legal problems.
Right. I mean, I see. One thing that's a little confusing to me is obviously, the article states that Cabana is suing him, but then you read in the email that Punk's saying, and it's saying, oh, you're an adult now, so you should pay your share. But again, the one thing everyone understands about life. One thing is, it's a code. It's a fucking code. It's with your best friend. It's with your father, your uncle, your grandfather. A lot of men break this, but a lot of thing is that the one thing in life that should be fucking true is a man's word. That's what makes a man a man. When someone, it doesn't matter if Punk can go all he wants. Oh yeah, you can chip in. You could help out. Didn't you give your word that you were gonna pay for it because you were the one that used Colt as a platform to address and mock Chris Amon? I didn't hear Colt Cabana saying anything about this guy. That was all Punk. That was all Phil Brooks talking about this doctor. That was him talking about this that led to this. That wasn't Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana, all he did was just say, hey, Punk, come sit on my couch in my studio apartment and talk about your grievances, because he did as a friend. He wanted to be therapeutic. He felt bad for his friend that had a traumatizing experience in a company and that ruined his dream. That's all Colt did was just give him a microphone and hit record and said, here, talk. He was not in on this fucking thing. So, yeah, Punk for every right should be fucking paying for this shit. In this scenario, I hope fucking Colt wins. I think he should win.
Yeah,
if it goes to
come
court.
on, seriously, you put him in that position, and do you really think he just has randomly $500,000 to pay for them? I obviously he probably does pretty well for himself, but come on, $500,000 on a salary of a indie wrestler.
The Young Bucks make that alone. They each of them make $500,000 in just merch sales, but that $500,000 is precious. That if you're an indie guy and you're traveling to fucking Japan and Australia and China, you appreciate that $500,000. You don't want to just be, hey, let me just go blow a year's salary in fucking lawyer fees.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
And
It's so selfish. Punk has the money. It's not like he's pleading poverty. outright stated that he was going to pay the lawyer fees.
Yeah, and
so what changed? What suddenly changed? Is he like blowing through money quicker than he gets it, or is he having monetary issues, or what?
I want to ask you something too. If he has monetary issues, it's like, ugh. But I want to ask you something though. As a friend, and this is straight shooting here. This isn't Eric the Red. This is Eric Williamson talking. As a friend, just saying hypothetically, like, okay, what's one, without breaking too much of the fourth wall here and exposing too much, what is one place, you could gimmick this all you want, what is one place that you hate the most? That you would never, ever, ever, ever walk, you would never in your life step foot again in?
Oh. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Now, just whatever the place, you don't have to name it. Now, just picture you have that place in your head, and me as your friend, I walk in there and talk to people from in there. What would your initial reaction be? And you could be honest. Would it be, oh, what the fuck is he doing? Or would it be, well, that's his opinion. He wasn't there. He didn't go through what I went through. Yeah, but he has friends there.
It's actually no fucking big deal. I really wouldn't care.
Well, that's my point.
I would not care at all.
See, but that's my fucking point. That's the point I'm trying to make is, anyone, and even the listeners at home, just picture your best friend. He's a guy you called your best friend since you guys were teenagers. Or even, approaching to your early 20s. A guy you've been friends with for almost 20 years. And you had a bad experience at a workplace, and it's like, and then you have friends there. Your best friend has friends there, and it's like, hey, and your friend's like, hey, I'm gonna go to this place and visit because of my friends, not, hey, I'm gonna go work here. Obviously, if it's like, hey, you're gonna go work there, well, that's kind of stupid. But it's like, hey, I'm only going to stop by to say hello to so and so. It's like, why are you gonna be mad at that? Like that infuriated me. It's like, oh, I'm gonna stop talking to you because you went there. You went there and hung out with people we know. But how dare you? How dare you go backstage there?
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, what? But I don't get it. Like, I could understand if like he found out that he was talking to Amon, and like he was like, I don't know, to get out of being sued himself, he like, I don't know, gave him like information about Punk. Yeah, then you have a right to be pissed off. Or if you were like sucking up to Vince and then suddenly you got a job there, like, oh, you're like Vince's lackey.
That I understand.
Like, then I would be upset. Then I would understand. But it's just like, okay, you visited because we all have friends there that we all worked in the Indies with, that we all know from Ring of Honor.
And that Colt's probably going back there and marketing himself. He's like, hey, Dolph Ziggler, you want to be on my podcast on Friday morning? That's probably what it fucking was. It wasn't, oh man, I gotta go talk to fucking Mark Carone or whatever the fuck that guy's name is, and Mark Cabrone. Mark Carano. There you go. I want to talk to fucking Mark Carano about getting a job here again. No, he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he wasn't doing that. He was back there because he accepts where he's at. He accepts that the company's not going to hire him anytime soon. And he knows, you know what? Let me just fucking see my friends. They're not going to fucking boot me out. They can't boot me out. I'm just there fucking talking to my friends. So, yeah, I don't know. But again, why does this shock people, though? That Punk, in a way, it doesn't shock me. It just pisses me off that he was that fucking, childish about it. But again, what does that come from? And I bring this example all the time, as brutal as it is. What does that come from a guy that wanted nothing to do with his parents? Oh, because, my brother got more attention than I did. So I'm gonna leave and not do anything, and I'm gonna like not care if they're like ill.
Is it me, or is it like as much as like Punk had a point, at the same time it's like he just acted like a spoiled brat. Like,
That's how
you're
he's
not
always
gonna give
been.
me WrestleMania. You know, I don't want to be here then.
He has a point.
Like, he has a point. It's just he also sounds like a fucking spoiled brat. It's like, okay, I'm the top guy in the company, but I'm not gonna get WrestleMania. It's like, okay, but they also put you in like a bunch of matches. They didn't need to push you.
They gave you a belt for
you could be
fucking
the
450
numerous.
days.
You could be a numerous amount of guys that are barely hanging on in the company and are more talented or better wrestlers in general than you are.
Look at a guy like Chris Hero, who I'm a big fan of. Look at
a guy like Cesaro.
They're treating
He's a better wrestler. Yeah. He's a all around better wrestler than Punk. No, I'm dead serious. Cesaro is a better wrestler than Punk. Not on the mic, but in the ring, he is a better wrestler. He, by all means, should have been at least a champion by now. Champion.
Look at their champion now. Can we even? Is there even an argument on who's better between those two?
Yeah.
Is there?
Exactly.
You know, I'm still a fan of Punk. I'm still a fan of the shit he did back then. I'm a fan of, his shit on the indies. I'm a fan of his entire career. I honestly am. I'm still a fan of his. But I acknowledge the dude's fucking weird. I acknowledge that he has a fucking social problem. But I also understand there's a lot of people better than him on the mic, in the ring, etc. There's a lot of people. He's great at what he did. He broke away from the robotic shit that they did for a long time, and he embraced something different for a couple of years. Fantastic. However, again, it's not to take away that, maybe he overreacted a little bit. It's like, him and Taker should have main evented. Fine, that would have been cool. Did Rock and Cena really need the headline? Yeah, they had the belt, but Punk had the belt the year prior and didn't main event. So, what does it matter? Taker's streak is actually more important in some WrestleManias than the belt was. So, and that was the last year Taker had that streak intact. So, yeah, that would have made more sense actually, and Punk would have been fucking happy. But
it's still another situation of it's Cena and The Rock.
Well, you know what too? Also,
it's Cena and The Rock.
And there's the circumstances also. There's the circumstances also that, Bryan got the main event because people spoke out, and that's all very true, very fucking true. But you look at him. You look at even Rollins, who fucking cashed in on Roman and Brock. You look at those guys who are all very similar to Punk. They're all indie guys. They're all former ROH champions, much like Punk. Do you think maybe it's just because, hey, we got these guys who were very similar in size as to CM Punk, but they all don't have weird fucking bipolar attitudes? Because supposedly Punk would fucking flip out at shit, bitch about wanting to quit, and then supposedly, according to Triple H and other people, they go up to Punk and go, "Punk, is there anything wrong?" He go, "No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. Everything's fine."
I kind of feel bad for like Triple H in those like interviews where he's just like, I had no fucking problem with the guy. He just like would just flip out at me for no reason. Like I was trying to help the guy get over, and then obviously, there's these stories about like him having to job to like Kevin Nash, but it's like It's Kevin fucking Nash.
Well,
It's not like your job. Like it's not like
yes and
Triple
no.
H just dragged. Like I get it. Like I get it. He's an old man, but it's like it's at the end of the day, you're not jobbing to some like they didn't make you job to like some random like rando guy that got off the street said, "Oh, they're going to be the next champion." It's like you lost to. If they made you lose, they made you lose to like top guys in the company. It wasn't like they were just jobbing you for no fucking reason.
Right.
You were a fucking heel. You were a heel in the company. What did you think you were going to be the? Did you really think you were going to be the top guy forever? Like you were a heel. You were playing heel, and then when they probably did have plans, I'm pretty sure I'm actually kind of sure they probably scrapped anything that they were going to do for Punk, and then had to go with Bryan. I'm actually pretty convinced that was the case, because if you notice, he leaves the company, they give everything right over to Bryan. He fits right into that storyline.
Bryan gets hurt. Then they give the stuff to Rollins. Rollins gets hurt. Then they eventually give the shit to Finn Balor. Finn Balor gets hurt. And I know I'm sorry for saying it like that, but that's actual factual shit. Finn Balor gets hurt. Then they split the brands into two, and Kevin Owens gets a belt, and AJ Styles gets a belt. Who are all fucking indie guys, and all are around the same size as Punk.
Exactly.
And then here's another thing I remembered. I remember this a while ago. I don't know how my memory's coming back all of a sudden, but on the Steve Austin podcast a while back, when he interviewed Triple H and Triple H talked about Punk, and he goes, "It's not slighting the guy. I didn't know who he was." He goes, because back then, Triple H was active wrestler, wrestling 250 to 300 days a year. He didn't have time to fucking watch the indies. That was kind of the job of talent relations to do that. The boys weren't that focused on what was going on outside of it. So Punk was offended for that. Punk was offended about Triple H not knowing who he was, and thought, "Oh yeah, that's because he doesn't like me." But then at the same token, Punk said while he's with the company, in shooting, off, like, kind of, on, like, shows like Sam Roberts and Peter Rosenberg, where you're allowed to shoot a little bit. While he was with the company, he would go, "Oh yeah, they made me do interviews for, like, SmackDown and for, like, WrestleMania, and I had to sit there and, talk about moments that happened," and he's like, "I had no time to watch any of that." He's like, "I was on the road on the indies. I had no time to watch any of that stuff. I don't remember any of that stuff that happened, but I had to pretend I did." It's like, yeah, then you should have understood. Triple H didn't have the time, so you shouldn't be offended.
It's just the whole thing with Punk is just, he just sounds like he sounds like the type of person that's like, I'm going to get easily offended, but if I say something on an equal token, I'm not going to get my own hypocrisy.
Right.
I'm not gonna get my own hypocrisy. Look, we all ran to like Punk's side when everything happened. And look, yeah, WWE, yeah, they're shitty for a lot of the things that they did. But maybe we should kind of look at it a way and say, guy had a good job. He was making good money. He was one of the top guys in the company. He was wrestling with the likes of The Rock, Cena, beating Cena, and taking on The Undertaker, taking on Triple H.
He's doing fucking promos with Steve Austin. They gave him Steve Austin, and they made him do the what chant to Steve Austin. Who the fuck let them do that? Who the fuck? Anyone, like, they would take everybody. Cena would take a stunner from Austin. Orton would take a stunner from Austin. Punk never took one from Austin. They fucking protected Punk's ass from fucking Steve Austin. He never fucking took that thing. They put him on an evil playing field when they did the fucking video game. When Punk was on the cover, they had Jim Ross sit down with Steve Austin and Punk. And both are sitting down, and they're hyping up what could have been a dream match between the two. So, they fucking gave him the fucking world, and they're comparing him, saying that, out of a lot of the talent, him and Cena were the two guys that could definitely fit in the Attitude Era.
But it's like the whole thing about it is they built like you can tell they built a lot of their plans going forward around CM Punk. They built a lot of their plans. I think he, for whatever reason, was in the back fucking just bitching nonstop about how he can't take it anymore. It's like I really think that he fucked up any push that he was going to get. Like, I really do think he probably would have main event. Like, but doesn't it make sense though? Like, why would you want the guy to main event if he's like flipping out in the back and like acting like a prima donna, and at any point, which he kind of proved that he could leave the company. So why would you build a WrestleMania around the guy when he's obviously volatile and might fucking leave on a whim? How fucking stupid would the company look?
It's like it's like when people look back at Impact in TNA and they like, hey, look at that year when they built it around this guy, and now look where that guy is now. Where is he now? Huh? He's not in that company. Oh, where's so and so? Oh, where's Hogan? Oh, where's Sting now? They look silly because they built their company around so many guys that are now gone. Same thing with WWE would have done if they had, centered a WrestleMania around main event around CM Punk. And it sucks because I wanted it as a fan. I wanted it, but they didn't fucking deliver. And he had a temper tantrum.
You have somebody like Brian, who's less volatile, is well liked in the back, well liked by the fans. Didn't need to talk and it was perfect because like I get it, Punk got over because it was his real personality, what he disliked about the company, and he had a lot of valid points, but in the long run, they didn't need another they didn't need another talking head, because that's what he was. He was a talking head that the crowd could gravitate towards, and he could complain about all the fucked up things in the company that they didn't like. And yeah, like we all have our own anger at the company, the stupid decisions they make. Vince is fucking partially senile, and his daughter's a fat big cunt. But at the very least, there are decent enough things with the company. We can't always brag on it. As many stupid ideas they have, they do have good ideas. As horrible as it is to think about and say, they do have decent ideas. We can't constantly shit on the company. But that's all CM Punk ever did. That's all he ever did. And he created this negative for all we say about like him changing things. He is the reason we have such a negative atmosphere when it comes to WWE, because he was the one that voiced everything. And I guess they didn't get it. Like I think overall they were thinking so much that like he was just going to stay with the company, and then eventually they could like change the persona around and have him be more positive towards the company. It never happened, and it took Daniel Bryan to like finally have what they wanted, where they have this indie guy who is the same size as Punk, like you said, but he's positive. He's chanting yes. He's getting the crowd hyped up and happy rather than going, oh, fuck WWE. Why am I buying these suits? Like,
Yeah, you got a point there.
that's
It
the
is a
wrong
little of
thing.
a
That's like the wrong thing
yeah, it
to
is a little.
show about the company.
You're right. It is a little of a contradiction thing. But again, you know what it is? It's like he tried to be. Reason why I liked him and people like it's the same reason like people like Naito in Japan, like myself, and people like Steve Austin, where it's like, hey, we're rebelling, we're being rebels. People like rebellion, and the thing. But
Yeah,
you're right.
The problem with that is Naito and Stone Cold, yeah, they were anti-establishment with the company, but at the same time, they still always kind of respected the company. Like, obviously the belts and shit got, like, the belts and the props got fucked up, but they never outright said, hey, stop buying the merchandise. Stop buying stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Stop believing in their booking. They're idiots. And he was the person ripping the scab off all the negative emotions that we've kind of like tried to like bandage up for like 10 years, and he just ripped the fucking scab off and the blood just gushed right out, and it hasn't every single time you hear CM Punk chant, why do you think they're chanting his name? Because he is the person that originated all the negative fucked up emotion towards WWE that we had all been suppressing for God knows how many years, and now it just rose to the surface once more. And then he left, and now we even have even more fucked up emotions towards the company. Rather than be constructive and have lobby actual criticism to the company, you have so many fans. And this is the major problem with the company. And you'll probably agree with me on this. You cannot have legitimate criticism towards the company whatsoever, one way or the other. You either hate the company completely, and the only thing you watch is the indies because nothing in WWE can ever be good, meaning NXT is out anytime Raw even has a decent pay-per-view or a decent enough show. No, didn't happen. No, it sucked. It's all PG bullshit. SmackDown. Oh, AJ Styles is the champion. I don't give a shit. It's stupid. And then on the flip side of that is you have the apologists that say everything in the company is amazing. Everything is great. So you cannot have criticism one way or the other, and that is because of CM Punk.
You're right. You know what? It's terrible to think of. It's actually one of the more depressing things to think of as a person that is a fan of Punk. It kind of makes me look back and think, hey, you know what? Yeah, no, you're 100% right on that one. I mean, you know, it makes me think. It kind of makes me put in retrospective, like, yeah, maybe you are right in the sense of a lot of these things all fucking occurred now because more of Punk. Back then, it was like, yeah, you had your WWE apologists and you had your people that were like, oh, fuck the company. But it's more amplified now to where if you do say anything, WWE looks at you and go, yeah, you're still gonna watch tomorrow. You're still gonna watch the pay-per-view. You're still gonna subscribe to the network. You're still gonna buy the merch.
You know, and the worst thing is, like, if you do say something negative about the company, like, they're going to go and say, oh, they're not going to take your criticism, and that's the biggest fucking problem now. They do not take your criticism, like, in any type of, like, they don't respect your criticism. They don't respect it because they think you're complaining to complain. They don't respect it because then they go and say, you're just a CM Punk fan. You're just parroting what he said in a scripted promo. Or shoot work. What he actually believed, but we just like kind of focused it a little bit, so we could make fun of like the IWC You know, we focused what he was going to say, and then he just went rogue. And now all the shitty fans that we don't even want watching our program are just parroting everything he said. That's their mentality. That's how the company views the fans now. You're either a complete mark that will eat up anything that they sell, will pay any amount to go to their pay-per-views, or you're the fan that's still going to watch, but you're going to bitch and complain and moan about it, how much the indies are better, and you'll always go and say, oh, well, CM Punk had a point about all this. But at the end of the day, the fucked up thing is he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit anymore. Like, it's enough, guys. Like, he was reading a scripted promo. Whether or not he believed it or not doesn't give you the right to go and fucking, like, hijack a pay-per-view just because you're pissed off that the guy didn't want to stay in the company anymore. And then at the same time, WWE needs to grow up and respect the fact that people have opinions that sometimes aren't positive about the company, because, yeah, a lot of the shit that they do is fucking stupid. But at the same time, not everybody's a Punk fan. I'm not a Punk fan. I've never been a CM Punk fan. I respect his work. I don't give a flying fuck about the guy. I never have. I never will. And Eric can really, tell our viewers, I do not give a flying fuck about CM Punk. Never have. I think I respect his work. I've liked his matches. I do not like the guy. I never did. I was never a fan of his. I did not watch wrestling during the time of the pipe bomb. I did not watch wrestling during that entire time. I only got into it later on during the Brian's run. And that, before that, I hadn't watched since, 2008, 2009. So, for the most part, I don't have an emotional attachment to CM Punk at all. I get it, and, but at the same time, and this is the main thing he should have realized. The main thing that you should be worried about, rather than main eventing a fucking pay-per-view, is making money. And you were making fuck tons of it, and you bitched and moaned to management, and what did you think was going to happen? Did you really think Vince was going to go, oh, fuck up, champ, you're going to get that pay-per-view someday? No, you told the guy you were burnt the fuck out. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah. It just boggles my mind.
The last thing I'm going to say about Punk is, as I obviously have the attachment to Punk, probably always will. It's just a biasness. It's just because I fucking watched the guy wrestle for about 16 years. Well, I mean, when he retired, 2014. Okay, so 12. What was it? Fucking 12 years. So I've only watched the guy wrestle for fucking 12 years. So, I'm always gonna be biased toward him. Just, I've always been a fan. I've just always been a fan of the dude's work. Since 2002 and all that shit. Seeing him live, seeing him, and I followed his entire Ring of Honor career and all that stuff. So, but again, like I said, I acknowledge that there's a lot of problems with him. I acknowledge that there's a lot of fucking problems that, I acknowledge he's not 100% right on the shoots that he's talking about with Cabana. I acknowledge a lot of stuff that's wrong, and that he acts like a fucking child. Again, WWE is not right. CM Punk is not right. Both parties did fucked up things. Both parties, Punk did not help. WWE did not help. things could have been fucking smoothed out, done things a little differently. The way shit happened is the way it happened. And again, I'm not one of these people that will ever chant Punk's name. I may have done it maybe when it was the last time I even went to a pay-per-view. I think 2015. I did it maybe once or twice, or a WWE show I meant to say. But yeah, I may have done it maybe once or twice from 2015 to now. It's I never probably will ever do that again. Well, actually, I will never ever do that again. It's because if I want him to return to wrestling, I know he'll never be back in WWE. And people say, "Oh, never say never, never say never, never say never." Again, I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to close it at this. If the guy has animosity toward his actual birth parents and his actual birth brother, and wanted to abandon them as a teenager, and at 40 years old, still wants nothing to do with them, doesn't care if they die tomorrow, what makes you think he's going to go back to WWE? Nothing at all.
That's God. I just really think he's a fucking print. He's just, when you know somebody who's just way over dramatic. I get he was in the right business. That's all I can say. But what happens if he suddenly gets into an argument with AJ? Is he gonna cut her completely out of his life too? That's the way I can describe CM Punk is he's a spoiled brat. He didn't get what he wanted. He bitched and moaned about it, and now he's created a clone army of himself as the WWE faithful. So, and then you got guys you have other guys that left the company. You have other guys on the indies that decided, hey, look, I'm not getting treated well here. I can make more money on the indies. They went back to the indies. Just didn't burn bridges with the company. They just said, look, I'm sorry. I'm not doing well here anymore. I think I can make more money elsewhere. Shake Vince's hand, say goodbye, and go work on the indies. Look what's happening with Cody. He's more popular ever, and he was a fucking third-rate heel jobber. Even look at guys like Apollo Crews, and now he's facing people like Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega.
Fucking. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the guy, look at even Aries, who tried out working for that company. Aries tried out for that company.
I don't really have that much of a problem with Aries. I just think what he did was kind of a dick move. It's just, I don't really.
I've heard a lot of shitty things about him though too. I've heard
shit about it.
Oh, yeah, I've heard. I'll tell you off air. I have a friend of mine that goes to House of Hardcore shows and had a not so great of an interaction with Tommy. But I'm not Tommy. Aries. Tommy knows about it and has said certain
That's
things.
Weird.
I'll bring it up.
It makes sense. I mean, he is kind of like CM Punk light.
Oh yeah. I've made the joke that him, Jay Briscoe, and Punk, they all fucking look alike.
Yeah, they do.
And they're all fucking weird dudes. They're all fucking strange.
I feel like Jay is probably the nicest one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know after the.
That's not saying much. But out of the three of them, I think he would be the coolest dude.
Yeah, I mean, I've had decent interactions with Aries, but again, I acknowledge he's a wackadoo. I never met Jay. I mean, I've seen the guy wrestle live plenty of times. Never met him though. I met Mark. Mark is exactly what you see on TV.
Or he's living the gimmick.
Or he is the gimmick. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
but, no. But what I was saying though before, what I was about to say is, AJ Lee, I think, is the only person left in like Punk's circle that, like, if they ever divorce, who the fuck does Punk have left? Who is it? Fucking the singer from fucking Rancid, who probably talks to Punk maybe like 3 times a year. There's fucking nobody left.
I feel like
he cut everybody else out.
I hate to say it, but it's just like, it just sounds like if she ever divorced him, I think I really hate to say it. Like, I don't hate the guy. I'm kind of indifferent to the guy. He's the sort of like he's the sort of guy that you hear when like a divorce or something happens. And again, this is not me shitting on the guy. They might be married forever, and this might never happen. But it's like, if that did happen, I would not be surprised if he killed himself. I would not be surprised, because then it's going to be a situation like, who does this guy have left? Like, wouldn't it be like a fucking lonely ass life if you're basically by yourself and like you have a ton of money, but you have no friends left, and you burnt every bridge that you could possibly have?
Yeah, because he has this fucking weird. He's this psycho mentality at almost a 40-year-old that he can't even he can't talk to his own fucking family. He has to estrange all his friends. He's a fucking wackadoo. You know what? And I'm gonna say this too. It's not gonna change my fandom of his actual in-ring work. But I don't fucking care if I get blocked. CM Punk is a fucking basket case. And this is coming from me, an actual fan. But I am man enough to admit it. CM Punk is a fucking basket case. And I totally agree with what you said. I'm not going to repeat it. I refuse to repeat it. But I do agree.
I'm not saying, like, I do
agree with you.
Wishing for that to happen. It's just, I think it would.
Knock on wood.
Because
it doesn't.
Knock on wood. I'm not saying it because I wanted to see it happen. It's just, I'm saying that, God forbid, if that happened, who the fuck would he have left? And seeing how prevalent suicide is in the wrestling business, especially about people who have no one left, would not surprise me. But knock on wood, hopefully that never happens. I wish the guy would just fucking grow up. Like, at this point, stop acting like a spoiled brat. Like the world owes you something.
I'm sorry for everyone that I offend. I'm sorry I say this, but that's how diehard punk rock fans act. I'm sorry, that's the truth. That is exactly how diehard straight edge punk rock fans, no pun intended, act. Where it's, oh, rebel against the system. Oh, we're too cool for school. We don't need drugs. Oh, look at me. I'm so awesome. I'm gonna have all these tattoos, and I look like a drug dealer, but I'm not a drug dealer. Ooh. Like, he has that fucking just, I'm gonna go left every time you go right mentality.
I understood his, like, promos, like, and I go back and I watch them from time to time, he just sounded like a whiner to me. Just nothing about, like, he he had good like takedowns, like verbally. But it's like you go back and you watch his promos, and it's just like, oh, I don't like the company. The company's this, and the company's bad, and I'm gonna get you ice cream pops, but now I hate the company. I hate the fans now because the fans are buying merchandise, but I'm not gonna say they're corporate shills when they're buying my merchandise. Oh, buy my merchandise. Oh, John, I don't like you, John. You're too much of a good guy because you're a shill to the company. Though you saved me from losing my belt, now I don't like you because you're bad. It's just the same fucking promo over and over again about how he hates the company and hates all the people that he thinks are corporate shills. I look at his promos and go, yeah, he's a good promo. Like, he is a good promo. It's just... And now I know I'm going to get fucking verbally reamed, but I'm like, I don't give a shit. I still, to this day, do not get all the hype with CM Punk. And again, and this is the one thing that annoys the shit out of me. And I get that it was supposed to be like a nod to Macho Man when he passed, but how in this modern age are you able? And this is just a minor knock. Is like I'm annoyed by this tremendously. How are you a wrestler on the indies and not know how to do a flying elbow drop that doesn't look like you going into an epileptic shock?
Do you remember the other guys when Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock fell off the roof, or they fell off the 20-story where they jumped off the 20-story building? That's what Punk looked like every time he did an elbow drop.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's just every time I saw that, I just had in my head, "There goes my hero." With that said,
Why did he move his arms though? Why?
Well, I mean,
what was the reason for that?
I mean, I guess he tried to be cool, like what fucking Shawn did when Shawn did the up yours thing when every time he did a fucking elbow drop. I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
You want to run through predictions for this weekend and then we get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. We got this coming up this weekend, which we're both pretty hyped for. We got Velveteen Dream versus EC3.
Velveteen.
I see Velveteen. Mustache Mountain of Tyler Bate and Trent Seven going against Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
Undisputed.
Undisputed. Yep.
Yeah, I don't see them losing until they face
War Machine.
War
Raiders.
Whatever. War Machine. Have they faced off yet or
not yet?
Okay.
Not yet. Adam Cole Bay versus Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship.
Ricochet.
I'm gonna go Adam Cole.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Next up, we got Shayna Baszler against Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship.
Shayna.
Shayna, yep.
Yeah, Shayna's not losing the belt to her.
And lastly, Ciampa May Cry defending the championship against Johnny Wrestling for the Last Man Standing match. Johnny Wrestling goes over.
Yeah. No, there's no way. Unless they swerve the entire crowd, but then it would be like the worst. It would be like, why did they do the feud in the first place?
Yep.
If it doesn't end at a like, does it make sense for them to end the feud at like what would be the next
takeover?
Yeah, it's at Survivor Series. Right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's the next one.
Where is that though?
I think LA.
Yeah, I don't see it. I have a weird feeling they're gonna have they're probably gonna bring back Lars and probably have Gargano and Lars feud.
Fuck yeah, that'd be dope.
Then they can make it into like a monster movie kind of situation. It's like,
They-
it's
they-
LA, it's bigger than life.
I see Mauro Ranallo going, it's David versus Goliath.
Oh please, let's oh my god, or like some kind of like movie monster reference where it's
Mamma
like,
mia, it's Godzilla.
it's like he needs a Jaeger because he's taking on a kaiju, or some kind of like a reference to like some kind of like monster movie or something.
It's
I
Gargano.
definitely see that, and I think Ciampa's gonna go to the main roster.
Maybe he'll go with good old fucking I'm probably gonna backstab my best friend there, Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. Oh God. Could you imagine that? Like, he loses Saturday, and then like the next night on Sunday, he comes and like starts hanging out with Dean, and then you look like Seth goes and like, why the fuck is Ciampa here? And then you just like both start taking turns beating the fuck out of him.
I want both of them to beat the shit out of people while they both smile, not say nothing, and just wave bye.
Yeah, why not?
I that's all I want. I just want Dean Ambrose and Ciampa to just stare at people and just wave bye after they viciously, silently beat the shit out of them. So with that said, SummerSlam, we got 20 million matches on the card. We got 3 pre-show matches. We got Rusev and Lana. Aw, how sad he's on the pre-show. And Rusev and Lana in a
How
mixed
the mighty
tag
have fallen.
against Andrade Cien Almas versus Selena Vega.
This sounds like a good match. Why did this need to be on the pre-show?
Maybe the pre-show will be better than the main show. Who knows? I'm gonna go with Rusev and Lana.
At this point, I'd rather see an almost win.
I
feel like they
because
can
of
do
the
more
story.
with him.
Because of the story, Rusev and Lana are winning.
I kind of don't want them to. I'm like, they're dead in the water. Just let Cien almost get like some heat.
I don't know. Next up we got the B team defending the Raw Tag Team titles against the Revival. Your silence is golden. that says everything.
Oh, yep.
The B team. Oh, dude. Oh, dude.
Should we say the Revival?
Dude, their B team's music now is wow.
I haven't even. Is it WoW bad or WoW okay?
No, it's wow bad. It's wow bad. It's only 30 seconds. Very quickly. Yeah. Hang on.
Was that it? That was it?
What? You heard that?
Yeah, I did.
Wait. You can hear that?
Yes, I can hear that.
Okay, let me play this in full now.
It's a marching band.
Huh?
It's a marching band?
Yes. Yup.
Okay. Okay, nothing in the company surprises me anymore. Okay, it's fine. That's fine.
It's basically
It's
if the
fine.
Job Squad fucked the Spirit Squad.
Yeah, okay. No, just moving on. I don't really. Like at this point, I don't really give a shit anymore. It's fine.
You're
It's fine.
broken, man. Damn.
It's fine. It's fine.
Cedric Alexander versus.
I'm not gonna even complain because do they really give a fuck if we complain or not? We're just a bunch of CM Punk fans. We're a bunch of CM Punk fans. What does it matter if we complain?
All right, let's praise let's praise the product. No,
It's a
come on.
brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea. I love it. I love their ideas. I love them. They're so good.
Oh man, hey, all those logos we spent an hour talking about, oh, they're so great.
They're so great. They're the best logos ever. That bland look. Mwah. It's so bland that I don't remember it. I don't fucking remember the Survivor Series logo for your fourth fucking pay-per-view. For your Big 4 pay-per-view. I don't remember the fucking logo.
Oh, that's a quote for the end of the year. That's a quote for the end of the year. Look, retrospective for us. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. Silence is golden.
I guess Gulak. I at this point, I get 205 is good. I get the cruiserweights are good. They're just drowned in everything else. Everything else is just happening at the same time. There's so much wrestling going on, and they just decided, hey, let's make another show. Because that's what we needed, another show.
Oh, wait till it happens when they actually make a women's show.
Fucking kill me. Fucking kill me.
No, man, everything's great.
There's way too many fucking, there's too much.
See my point?
There's way too much.
You see my fucking point? That's why AM Thunders now are becoming like fucking 3 hours long, because we're spending so much time, and there's not enough time to even fucking get into how much shit there is.
Literally, we do, we have, and this is the shoot side of things for our listeners, because fuck it, everything we say is a shoot. We do fucking 3 or 4 hours of one pay-per-view, and then we have we do TakeOver, which is 2 hours. Then we have, on top of that, we have the main pay-per-views of SummerSlam, or whatever the fuck the pay-per-view of the month is. And then on top of that, we usually have a fucking New Japan pay-per-view, or an Impact pay-per-view, or a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, all at the same fucking time. And WrestleMania week, holy fuck. You guys realize we did 2 or 3 fucking reviews in a single week.
Dude, I just remember WrestleMania weekend, me just pulling a fucking all-nighter for almost for practically a day and a half. Just because I wanted to be up to speed on everything wrestling, and then I needed a fucking wrestling break for 2 or 3 weeks.
Dude, I think we're gonna die, because we are literally, once we get to WrestleMania weekend for this year, and it's in the area, we are gonna have so many different fucking promotions in this single area that it's either we're gonna be going to everything, or we're gonna be I'm almost tempted for WrestleMania weekend to just take a fucking vacation. Just take a fucking vacation to be able to watch all this shit, because it's not going to be possible unless you especially if you have to work. It seriously is not going to be possible to fucking watch all the shit that's going to be going on.
I don't get why everybody's just or every promotion now is just hey, make time for this. Hey, make time for that. Maybe enough. Like, I love Japan. But Japan, when they do the G1, they treat that shit like baseball. Hey, watch this show, this entire show for 3.5 hours. Okay, you watch that show? Okay, now watch this one tomorrow. You watch that one? Okay, now watch this show 3 hours tomorrow. Okay, watch that show. Now watch that show. And podcasting's no different. We're doing longer shows, but the thing is with us, it's, hey, listen to when you can. We're not fucking rushing you. You know? And it's totally, and you could skip what you want. You could do, and again, that's what wrestling does too. But you know, it's like, when is enough? But anyway, Drew Gulak, Cedric. I'm gonna go with Cedric to retain. Next
I go
up,
with Gulak. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we got the Bludgeon Brothers defending the belts against the New Day. The New Day. I don't know. I guess I guess New Day. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just kind of like I like the New Day. I'm not burnt out on them. I'm just kind of like, are we still calling them the Bludgeon Brothers?
Yes, we are.
Can we just not like do that gimmick anymore and just
nope.
You know, can we please not? You have War Machine, War Raiders, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
In 1990, the WWF had the Powers of Pain, Demolition, and the Legion of Doom. Your point?
Eric, fuck you. Just fuck you, alright? I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm not physically tired, I'm just emotionally tired. Like, they've literally broken me. Like, I'm just...
You didn't go to Backlash.
It's so good. They're so good at taking the same idea and using it over and over again. They're geniuses at doing that. I respect their candor. I respect Vince McMahon for his giant big brain and doing the good thing with the thing. And
alright, Bludgeon Brothers or New Day?
I really want to take the fucking, like, cord of my headphones and just, like, I'm gonna, like, just... Bonesaw is... God, Bonesaw is ready! Oh...
Bludgeon Brothers or New Day? What do you think?
Okay, the New Day.
Okay. Carmella defending the title against Charlotte and Becky Lynch.
Eric, do the thing when you say which one's not like the other.
Which one of these is not like the other? Two of these
Short
wrestle
pitch.
really. Two of these wrestle really good, and the other one it blows Michael Hayes. I'm gonna go with Charlotte to get the belt back.
I go with Michael Hayes' dick. I mean, whoops. Whoops.
I'm breaking the fourth wall. Oh, I'm sorry. We're a bunch of CM Punk marks. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, next up. Finn Balor versus Constipated Corbin. Or, as I like to call now, we either have Barback Corbin, or, as I figured out, we have Lars Sullivan's dyslexic brother. NORAB.
Oh god. Oh, he's still gonna wrestle in the fucking shirt and like slacks.
I'm calling it right now. If Finn Balor is LBGT Finn Balor, he's losing. If he's Demon Balor, he's winning. So I'm gonna go with it depends on what Balor is that night.
I guess, yeah.
If he's the Demon, yeah, he's gonna win. But for now, I'm gonna say he's not gonna be the Demon, and Constable is gonna win.
Oh my god! No, and you know what? No, I actually just realized what Baron Corbin looks like. He's the Gilbert version of Triple H. When when Triple H gets irritated and takes his suit off, and shows I'm all business, but I could still kick your ass.
Yeah, you're right.
He's the Gilbert version of that.
Fuck, you're right. Oh man. Oh, I gotta say something my dad said that's not nice that I'll tell you off the air about Corbin. But anyway, it's not nice. I can't say it on air. I can't because
knowing what your dad would, knowing what TA would actually say.
Yeah, knowing what's come out of his mouth in the past, you could only imagine now. So next up,
he probably called him a fucking bitch too.
Yeah, Scary Terry. We got Nakamura defending the U.S. belt against Jeff Hardy. I'm gonna go with Nakamura.
I'm going with the DUI.
Okay, all right, good.
No,
Yeah.
I'm actually going with the DUI. I think that's actually what's going to happen.
The DUI. So you think the DUI is gonna fight the fucking what's his name, Louis C.K. there?
No, I literally think it's just going to be. I'm such a piece of shit for saying this, but I really think it's going to be I think it's going to be Victory Road.
Oh, come on!
He's looking at his hands. He's gonna come in.
Pat's defeated everybody. I'm sorry for Pat. For Bonesaw, I'm sorry for Bonesaw.
Stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. They did this to me.
Dolph Ziggler.
I'm a CM Punk fan. They did this to me.
Dolph Ziggler defending the IC title with Drew in his corner versus Rollins and 2018 Triple H there, Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah, the heel turn's gonna happen.
Yeah,
he's gonna retain.
Yeah, you don't come out looking like that. You don't come out looking like you just did time in the fucking state prison to be a goody two shoes. I'm sorry, I don't see Wacky Dean at all.
He came out like he hadn't he looks like he lives in the like they decided to live in the trailer park. Like he's been living in the trailer park and he's just been beating the crap out of Renee Young for the past 3 months.
From Global Canvas Club on Twitter, the meme that's going around now is here's Dean Ambrose's schedule for the last 9 months. 6 a.m. Wake up and eat an entire cow. 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. to noon, gym. 12:30, eat another cow. 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., gym. 9 p.m., eat another cow. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., cuddles with Renee.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he got the motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he looks so much better now.
Yeah, he
Now,
looked.
now I can actually take him seriously when he does like a Luthez press.
Now I can take him seriously when he actually does fucking. When they do call himself the lunatic fringe.
Yeah, kinda.
There's another one. There's another one with Dean
Looks
with
like
his
he
hair.
came out of a fucking mental asylum.
There's another one where it's Dean with his hair all messed up and like ungroomed, and it's like, and it says, and then it's a picture of him now, and it's like Dean went from "I'll have your daughter home by 10 o'clock" to "She calls me daddy now."
Oh, that's good. That's the good shit.
Yep. Okay, next up I think Dolph might retain, and then Dolph's gonna retain. We're gonna have a heel turn, Dean Ambrose attacking Rollins, or they could even put the belt on Rollins, and Ambrose attacks him and goes, "Well, I want the belt, so I'm gonna go after you." So you know what?
Yeah, I see more of a heel. I see that it's probably just keeping the belt on Dolph. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Next up for the Money in the Bank contract, we have Braun against Kevin Owens. Kevin wins. Braun loses the briefcase.
You think so?
I think KO. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe KO's gonna get the briefcase.
If they do that, I think it's kind of a lazy thing.
They're doing it. They're fucking doing it. It's pretty fucking. I'm pretty fucking certain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with KO.
I hate that. I hate the idea because then like that whole thing that they were literally the fans like the fans will fucking go. It's like the wrong type of heat that you should be giving Kevin Owens.
I want to be wrong, but I think that's what they're gonna do.
Ah, that's so fucking stupid.
Next up, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Daniel Bryan.
I feel like this match would have been like a fucking phenomenal WrestleMania match. Like a year ago. A year ago, this would have been like the WrestleMania match.
For sure.
But the oh man, the fucking chemistry between these two guys.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I feel like this is going to be the match of the night. Like,
this is the match I'm looking forward to. Honestly, I don't care. I do not care about. I'm intrigued, but I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait to see it. I'm more just like, yeah, I'm okay with everything else, but this is the match I want to see. Honestly. So yeah, that's that. Next up we have Ronda Rousey going for the Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss from Raw. Ronda's getting the belt, in my opinion.
So, Michael Hayes is banging Carmella, and Alexa Bliss is what? Fucking Bucky Beaver?
Oh, you think Alexa's retaining?
Is that how it's happening?
Really? You think Ronda's losing? I don't know. I think she's winning the belt, dude.
How long has she been chasing it?
This month.
Do you really think they're going to do multiple title changes in this pay-per-view?
You got a fucking point there. Maybe not.
This is like I would not be surprised if they did like a whole title chase with Ronda after this and then go into
but
maybe
how How does Bliss pin Ronda? How?
Mickey James.
I do a count out.
Clubbing
Do a count
her
out.
on the back of the head or
Do a
something?
count out or a
How
DQ, please.
How did she pin Nia fucking Jax? Like how? How the fuck didn't she like cough and like shoot her into like the front row? So like it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. I really don't I don't give a shit. Like the belt means nothing to me at this point. Like the belt, that belt and the other belt are like fucking. Like we joke about the Fruit Loop belt, but those two are like the fucking Fruity Pebbles belts.
Yeah.
As they are fucking meaningless. I do not give a. I could give a flying because you have not only you have the tiniest girl in the fucking entire roster as the champion, and then you have that fucking abortion of talent as your SmackDown champion. So what do the fucking belts mean at all?
Dickle. You mean Dickle?
Exactly. No, I'm sorry. No, they're the best belts ever. They're both talented women and they're super beautiful. And I'm being misogynistic and I am a bad man because I am a CM Punk fan.
Oh, shit. Next up, TNA. We got AJ Styles defending the WWE title against Samoa Joe. AJ's retaining.
So, okay, what I'm going to say is it's either going to be Daniel Bryan and Miz as the match of the night, or it's going to be this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It sucks. You know what, though? I'm looking forward to Bryan and Miz as a feud. I'm looking forward to it as it's going to be a match that it's going to be their best fucking match ever, in my opinion. I'm probably like, you never know what can happen, but I'm going to hold high hopes with that one. That's going to be the best match. AJ and Joe, the reason why I have less hopes for that is because I hate to sound like this, but I hate to sound like the wrestling hipster here, but I have seen them have better matches. This match is not going to be as good as their matches in Impact and Ring of Honor. But it's not to say that it's not a match to watch and get pumped for, because it is. It's going to be a phenomenal, no pun intended, match for WWE standards. But that being said,
I hope it's not
AJ's
a situation
retaining.
where it's like AJ Nakamura, like with those matches where they're like,
I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. But you know. And then next up we got we got the asthmatic gorilla versus the pound poochie for the fruit roll up championship.
It's the greatest belt of all time with the greatest champion of this modern era. He should hold the belt for another 10, 12 years and then like die as champion so they could keep the belt on him for even longer, and then you can't even pin him. You'd have to like bury you'd literally have to dig up the coffin just to pin him.
Fuck Bruno. Brock is the champion of the universe forever and ever and ever. I beat you, Dad. I had a champion longer.
I feel like Vince would go to his dad's grave, gloat about that, spit on his dad's tombstone, and then fucking die right there.
And then you have the Hulk music playing in the background.
His last words were like, "I beat you, Dad. I beat you, Dad." I'm going to visit you in hell, Dad.
while that plays, and then Vince and then Vince is like falling, into his to his slumber, his internal slumber. For just because you hear you hear a familiar tune. This is what you hear. I did it, Dad. I need a rest. 23 years a champion. It made him happen. I did it. I made it happen. Brock is the champion. Forever and ever.
I'll see you in hell, Dad.
Oh, fuck. Anyway.
Oh no, he gets there, and it's just...
I think Brock is retaining, by the way.
It's them playing Monday Night Nitro forever.
Brock is retaining, by the way. Sorry. I'm sorry. But he is. I just want Brock to retain now from now on. Just retain. Fuck it, just retain. I want whoever has the briefcase, would it be Braun or Kevin, to cash in and fail. I want Brock to just hold that belt for 23 years now.
I just want, I want a fan to just go and, club Roman with something, just run into the ring and just, not even hit hard, just, get a wiffle ball bat and, tap him one time so, he gets disqualified, and then everybody in the entire arena can go, what the fuck just happened? And then you see the worried look on everybody's face. It's like, wait, what the fuck? He's still champion? And then you just see, just fucking Roman running after this lone guy with the fucking wiffle ball bat. You fucking cost me the championship, you piece of shit. And it just, turns into, this, weird fucking Samoan version of Benny Hill, where you're just chasing him around the arena. I would fucking die if that happened. You know how, that one guy, he came, he was dressed in the Shield gear, and he, just randomly showed up, and, the entire Wyatt family was losing their shit because, the guy...
Oh, yeah, Bray's gotcha, John! But then you would just have this to be weird.
Oh, God, I really wish that would happen. Not seriously injure him, just, get a wiffle ball bat and just, tap him in the back of the shoulder or something, so they have to call the match.
Oh, my God.
That would be the greatest fucking thing I'd ever seen. Oh, God.
Yeah, man. Well,
I want that to happen. I really do.
I hope.
But then again, I'm a CM Punk fan.
Yeah, we're just CM Punk fans. But with that said, this is our longest show we've done in probably years. We're on almost 3.5 hours.
Fuck.
So with that said, pick an outro. We out of here. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode, and we apologize for it being ridiculously long. But yeah, there's a lot of just venting and shit to talk about that we don't really ever really talk about. So and that being the minor nitpicking to the analyzing Punk and Orton to just sheer stupidity from WWE and whatnot. But again, we're just CM Punk fans. What do we know? So while Pat's finding an outro, KayfabeTalkRadio.com. Find us on there. Episodes every Thursday now at 5 p.m. drop. So always look out for that. Also, Facebook.com/KayfabeTalkRadio. You can chat with us there. Also on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at EricTheRed211. We got our resin beach ball at J.R. Earl's Art. And Mr. _Bonesaw for all your gripes and complaints on the show.
I think I found it.
Okay.
I think it works. It works because it matches what I was talking about with the baseball bat.
Okay. All right.
And also it kind of also fits in with CM Punk. Oh man!
All right, please send it this way when you get a chance. Oh man. Okay, let's see here. Perfect. Fuck. Well, with that said, we're out of here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. And, by all means, we'll catch you next time. So, till the next time, keep it kayfabe.
Bitches.
Oh yeah, oh. Beat on the brat, beat on the brat, beat on the brat with the baseball bat. Oh yeah.